All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to tonight's stream. Tonight, we have this lineup of people that you see on your screen. We have Lucan from WMY Coasters. We have Sammy from Built to Thrill. We have Ace. We have Tom from Tom's Tracks. And we have Darius from I'm Dirty by Nature on Instagram. Guys, if you just want to introduce yourselves, give some plugs to your social media, go right ahead. We can start with Lucan.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Lucan from WMY Coasters on YouTube and Instagram, and that's really all I got.
Hey, guys. Sammy here from Built to Thrill. Seen me a couple times now. Instagram, YouTube, you know the drill.
Hello, guys. It's Ace. I have, of course, Ace Car on Facebook, and I'm also part of the New Jersey Great Adventure Connoisseurs. Coaster Connoisseurs.
Hey everybody, it's Tom from Tom's Tracks. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, where I might post the occasional thing or two here and there.
All right, Darius, you have anything you want to say?
Darius, can you hear us?
I think he may be having audio issues. But welcome to the stream, everyone. It's been, I think, was it a week, 2 weeks since we did the last one. So a lot has happened in the coaster community. Of course, we had the announcement by Hershey Park of RMC Wildcat's Revenge, which we're definitely going to talk about in this video. If you guys haven't seen already, I'm going to be doing a public's thoughts video on Wildcat's Revenge. So if you guys are interested in sharing your thoughts about the coaster on the channel, shoot me a message on Instagram, Facebook, send me an email, whatever way you can get in contact with me. Do that, and I'll get you guys set up for that. But I guess we might as well start off by talking about Wildcat's Revenge, because there is a lot to talk about with that ride. I mean, the idea of Wildcat at Hershey Park being RMC'd has been something thrown around in the coaster industry for so long now. And to see it finally happening is really surprising. Like, it's just crazy to me. I mean, I haven't really shared my thoughts on Wildcat's Revenge too much yet, but I will say that it looks absolutely awesome, and I'm really excited. I don't think it's going to be the best RMC. I don't think it's going to be the worst RMC. I think it'll be somewhere in the middle, probably towards the upper tier. but it looks different than a lot of the other RMCs we've seen so far. I mean, it's definitely a little more focused on the inversions, if you ask me, not as much airtime, but that's all right. They have Skyrush, and I'm just very excited to see how that winds up riding. What do you guys think about Wildcat? Whoever wants to start.
Well, I'll start.
Okay.
What I think about Wildcat is I'm thinking about and probably in the likes between the coast I wrote earlier, Wicked Cyclone and Goliath, and probably a little bit of Air Force One from what I've seen the likes of. So it's definitely something to be excited about because it's going to be unique in its own way, and it's definitely going to add another aspect to the already great Hershey Park. So that's going to be a great coaster, for what I can see.
I'm really excited for it. I know for as long as RMC's been doing these conversions, there's been rumors that Wildcat should be getting it. There's been a lot of debate about it, but it's finally coming. I'm interested that I'm very kind of surprised that they didn't go with a candy theme name because they've been doing a lot of that lately. But it's cool that they're kind of paying homage to the original Wildcat in the name at least. We'll see what they do with the ride itself. I'm excited. We know Hershey gets a lot of crowds. We're going to get an unload station, which looks really cool too. I think there's a lot about this ride that we might not even be thinking about, so I can't wait to get on it and see what it's like once it's built.
Who's next?
Lucan?
I'll go ahead. I really like what I saw from Wildcat's Revenge. We didn't get a full POV, so I guess there's a couple surprises, maybe like Tom just mentioned. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great ride. I think it's going to complement what they have well. It's going to be a nice medium between Candemonium and Skyrush intensity-wise. So I'm just really pumped for it. I'm pumped. They'll probably, for me, I'm not sure about you guys, but geographically, it's going to be the closest RMC to me. So I'm really excited about that, and hopefully I'll be able to get some rides on it next year.
Yeah, I saw it for the first time, and I was really excited. I think correct me if I'm wrong here, it's the smallest truss lift hill, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yes, it's the
but
truss.
I'm glad that they are using the trusses now in basically every coaster they do, because I think it just makes more sense, and it further supports the structure way better than the wood structure did. And I also tend to like these smaller RMCs better. I think like the quicker transitions are a lot more fun, and it just makes for a more intense ride. But I was part of like the 3% that liked Wildcat, so yeah.
Same.
I'm with you on that, Sammy. It's a little bittersweet. That's one of my favorite Woodies. And while we get some great coasters out of RMC, we lose some great coasters along the way. Mean Streak was a nightmare, so I was not sad to see it go, but I'm going to be pretty sad to see Wildcat go.
Yeah, I could see that. Ace, what were you saying?
I had to say one more thing that Sammy alluded to, the metal truss. The metal truss is everything. All of the RMC metal truss coasters. Doesn't Zadra have one too?
Yeah.
Has a metal truss? Wow. All of them are great. So that is definitely
Zadra, Air Force, Wildcat,
and the Goliath.
Yeah.
And Gwazi. So that's 4 of them. That's great. So that's a good thing then.
4 of them.
That's 5.
Yeah, that's 5. That keeps the streak alive. I know Wildcat's going to be great. And the color scheme is great. The red and black is excellent.
Yeah, I agree
I'm
with
curious
that.
to see how that black looks, because it's either going to look really good or it's just going to look off. So I'm curious to see how that winds up looking.
Yeah.
I wonder how the ride's going to look with the truss in the skyline, because you got 2 200-foot coasters. Storm Runner's 180 feet, and then I think it'll be the 4th tallest coaster in the park. So I'm not sure. I hope it stands out, because I know it'll be really cool.
I know they're not going to do it. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I know I'd love to see them. I know they're not going to do this, but like if they paid homage by putting pacer lights on the side, that'd be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At least in the front area of the ride.
Yeah, at least up the truss. I think that'd be really cool.
That'd be cool, yeah.
Well, the good news about that we alluded to in regards to stand out. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I see something very good my dad put in the chat. It's for Darius. So, Darius, since this is your first time on stream, Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, coaster credits, favorite park, coaster? You see the rest.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah. So
That's cool.
favorite parks definitely Cedar Point. I've been going there since I was a kid. I'm 44 years old, so you do the math. I think the first time I went there, I was 11, and I'm a fanboy. I love Top Thrill. I know Ace is gonna give me the shame look. King Dakar is awesome, but my first ride on King Dakar, I'll never forget it. That was awesome, but Top Thrill still has a pretty good place in my heart. Only number 2 behind that is Force. So a little bit of me about my coasters. I do the coast to coast coastercation. Start off in New Jersey, land in Cedar Point the next day. Might hit Kings Island, and then typically end up on the West Coast at a park there. So if anyone wants to join, let me know.
That's awesome.
Wow. That's a great one. Yeah, that's a great one. I was gonna what I was saying was that in regard, you said that you hope that it stands out, Sammy, the metal truss on the Wildcat. Actually, you know what? That will be the tallest ride in the area, even taller than Fahrenheit and Lightning Racer. Think about it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna stand out. So right in the front of what is that? That was the back of the park. So yeah, it's gonna stand out.
It is gonna kind of be weird though, looking at the top of the building of what laugh track.
Laugh track, yeah.
Laugh track, yeah.
It's a little funny.
Yeah, it's gonna be tiny.
I'm curious how it's going to look from the road, right? Because when you're driving in, Pandemonium and Skyrush, they have a presence. And then as you get towards the back of the park, of course, everything gets smaller and smaller, and it doesn't really stand out as much. But this is going to be the tallest thing in the area, I mean, other than Storm Runner. So I'm curious to see if it's going to pop from, say, the parking lot or the road, or if it's just going to kind of blend in.
You know what? I've been in that area a million times because there's a Wendy's right there, right, Colin? There's a Wendy's there. You get some food, and when you're like leaving Hershey Park, you'll always look at Lightning Racer, both those two sides, and also the old Wildcat before they obviously going to do this conversion. And when you look at it, if you can see it like that, I can imagine how it's going to be 100. How tall is the lift hill? 140. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. You're talking about almost 150 feet. So yeah, it's going to stand out.
That also makes me think too, right? So Jersey Devil's only 130 feet tall.
Yeah.
This is only 10 feet taller than that.
Yeah.
And Jersey Devil, if you ask me, is small. Like you cannot see it from anywhere in the park until you get close to it. So I mean,
the world's tallest coaster
Wildcat's
in
gonna
the
have
same
that
park.
same issue. What'd you say?
There's the world's tallest coaster in the same park, and there's a B&M Hyper right next to it. So that also hurts.
It's true. True.
Yeah, you do have Nitro right next to it, and then
and there's way less trees blocking.
Yeah. There's no trees really in the Hershey.
You and plus remember, Colin, this is all the way in the back of the park, so it's like that doesn't do it. Yeah, that doesn't do it any justice as opposed to Wildcat, Wildcat's Revenge being pretty much on the tail end of the park. So that's gonna be a huge benefit to the Wildcat Revenge.
Yeah, I feel like to be a really good coaster, you got to have a presence as well.
Yeah,
like I think Steel Vengeance holds a great presence. Like I know Maverick like doesn't hold much of a presence in the skyline, but it holds a presence in the area. A lot of people flock to it. You got to have something that makes it stand out from other rides, and whether that be the color scheme, the height, just something. And I don't necessarily find that in Jersey Devil. Like Jersey Devil's got, I like the color scheme and stuff. It's not, but it's not like the tallest ride in the park, and there's nothing that's making people like run to that ride over, say, King Dakar or Nitro.
Yeah,
they missed a couple of opportunities with Jersey Devil. They could have done that national park sign hanging right from the truss. I mean, there was a couple of things they could have done there to make that thing stand out.
Cool.
I think Joker has more stage presence than Jersey Devil, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, and it's a shame too because Jersey Devil, right? Like it has a really good-looking entrance, but it's just too hidden.
Mm-hmm.
If the ride even was just pulled forward a little bit, so you could actually see, because the way RMC was able to arrange the entrance to have the stall and the 0G roll overlap with the sign right in the middle, it's picture perfect. But it just doesn't have the grandness of something else like King Dakar or Nitro, where it's right at the midway, you see it. Jersey Devil, you have to kind of venture all the way back there to find it.
Right next to the kid area.
I concur with Darius. He just hit the nail right on the head. that you come right into the park, like where the water fountain is. You can see literally the Joker. It's right there in the middle of everything. So yeah, if Jersey Devil could only be there, forget about it. That would have been better.
Yeah,
but of course the
ideally,
Joker's there.
that would have been the right place to put it, right? But then they'd have to
Yeah.
move Joker.
Would have been cool, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been nice. But unfortunately, the Joker's there already. But wow, that's a good point. Yeah.
So back onto Wildcat's Revenge. I have to ask you guys, because I definitely have my opinions. What do you think of the name? Because the name definitely has gotten mixed reviews. What do you guys think?
I'm just. You was going?
No, you were going.
Listen, I'm kind of perplexed about it because I was really excited about, like Sammy alluded to earlier, about the candy theme. I would have loved to hear Kit Kat or something.
I did not say I wanted the candy theme.
I think I talked about it. I was surprised
no,
that
Tom,
they didn't do it.
excuse me.
I think a lot of people thought they would.
Yeah, I would have loved the candy theme, even though it sounds really cool. Wildcat Revenge, but I wish it would have been the candy theme. It kind of shocked me, to be honest.
Yeah, I was surprised too. I really thought they were going to keep going. I mean, it doesn't make or break it for me. I feel so we're indifferent to the name. I feel like it could have been better. It could have been worse, but it definitely could have been better. I think Iron Kit Kat, something along those lines. A lot of people I see in the comments were hoping it'd be something along those lines. But I mean, I don't hate the name. It kind of pays tribute to Wildcat, and it's its own thing. So again, as long as the ride itself is good, I don't much care.
I think it would be a little hard given the history on that being a PTC coaster, like with heritage going all the way back, I think to like the 1920s. I think it'd be a little hard to discard that name. So I think they did the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Very historic name.
Now that you bring history in, I do concur with that. What Darius just said. Yeah,
it's
true.
A PTC with a name that goes back to, I'm looking it up right now, 1923.
1920.
Right?
This will be the 100th anniversary of Wildcat.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's
so,
true.
like, from a hardcore historian standpoint, if they threw that name away, I think more people would have a problem with it.
True.
Yeah.
That was a good call from Hershey, the great Hershey Park. That was a good call. So I got to give them credit to that. So, once we get on the ride, the what is that? Wildcat Revenge? It's gonna be like an afterthought. Okay, Revenge of the Wildcat. We'll be happy once we get on it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we all know pretty much every RMC conversion has a terrible name. There are not many good RMC names. I
thought it was gonna be Twisted Wildcat.
Use, Iron or Twisted or some synonym of
Iron
that,
Cat,
followed by some stupid name like Iron Gwazi. Right? I hate the name Iron Gwazi. I love Gwazi, but Iron Gwazi. It's my favorite coaster, but like,
what about?
I don't like the name.
What about Twisted Colossus and the other Iron names?
I think the Twisted
or even
ones
Wicked and
flow with the tongue well. Like Twisted Cyclone,
Twisted
Timber,
Colossus.
Colossus. I think they go well.
Okay.
I mean, Iron Raptor's a good name. Like, they're good because they
Twisted
sound
Cyclone.
good. But like compared to other
Twisted,
coaster names that are like really good, they're just they all kind of suck, honestly.
What about Wicked Cyclone?
Wicked Cyclone's okay.
Okay, and Twisted Cyclone.
I heard this name.
That's just a
copy. Like on Twitter or something.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted them to call it Metallicat. Which would have been
what?
Which was really funny, and I really like Metallicat.
Metallicat.
Okay.
I kind of like the name, and I thought it was really funny, and I was like, "Oh, that would be a really funny name for the coaster."
That's funny.
Here's
what they should have done. I think Iron Cat was like a perfect name for it because it actually kind of sounds good. Like it sounds like it kind of makes sense. Or they could have just called it Wildcat again. I mean, they had no problem doing that with this one. So
I kind of feel like whatever name. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say stick a "the" in front of it, call it the Wildcat.
That's what it was originally called.
Yeah, so just like put it back to that.
The Wildcat. Wow. But what you said, Iron Cat? That would have actually that would have been. No, but you had to keep Wildcat. But Iron is pretty cool. Now, real quick, what do you think about Still Vengeance? You think that was they hit the nail on the head on Still Vengeance?
I don't really think it's a great name.
What about you, Darius?
Listen,
You think Steel Vengeance?
Mean Streak beat the hell out of my head, so Steel Vengeance was like it was clearly a better name than Mean Streak.
Yeah, Mean Streak. Only thing I can remember is the roller coaster was mean. It reminded me of a souped up cyclone from Brooklyn, Coney Island. Oh my God. That thing just jackhammered me on all 3 rides that I've gotten on Mean Streak in my life. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't miss it.
Yeah.
I feel like no matter what they chose, it was gonna. We all knew it was probably like, besides like the candy theme. I think once we started seeing teasers and stuff like the claw marks, we knew it was gonna be something cat or Wildcat. And people were probably gonna complain no matter what. So I mean, I'm not gonna. I don't love the name, but it was either gonna be that or Twisted Wildcat or Iron Cat. I mean, I know they sound better, but really, like, if you look at it like from like creative perspective, it's not that much different.
Now, I was having this argument with my dad the other day about the name, because personally, like, to say Wildcat's Revenge, I'm sure it's going to grow on me. It's already starting to grow on me, you know, ever since the announcement. It just feels like it's too many syllables. Like, it's like a mouthful to say.
I thought about this the other day, too, and I think I'm just going to keep calling it Wildcat.
I'm going to call it Wildcat. I mean,
I was just calling it
Wildcat.
Just like
they really should, honestly, they could have just named it RMC Wildcat. And probably
the GP would just be so confused, but that would have been great for him.
Think about this though: the technical name for Jersey Devil is Jersey Devil Coaster, and like we kind of do the same thing by just calling it Jersey Devil.
Or
Jersey Devil Coaster. How redundant can you get? Jersey Devil Coaster, yeah. And Revenge of the Wildcat, just like your coaster, Darius, as I allude to long names, Dr. Diabolical Cliffhanger. What a long name. You gotta remember that. I was a kid or anybody, a GP supposed to remember that. Yeah, Wildcat's Revenge. Wow.
Yeah.
Doctor.
Pretty long name.
Dr. Coaster.
Dr. Coaster.
They just call it Doctor. If I was like an 8-year-old kid, that's what I would call it. I just call it Doctor.
Now, just looking through the chat here, I see Coaster Hours comment. The overseas RMCs have really good names. Untamed and Hukuge, those are like really good
names. Are nice.
Zadra especially, yeah.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
You know what? Hukuge is a really good name, except I always forget it, and I'm like the white whale. I'm like that thing. But that's an amazing ride and a pretty cool name.
Here's a good question for everybody.
You said the white whale?
Oh.
Yeah. I got a
Ace, hold on a second. Ace, hold on.
I got a good question. What do you guys think is the best like overall package, like theming, name, and like color scheme for an RMC?
Ooh.
That's a tough one.
That's a really good question.
I like, honestly, from what I've seen, I've only been on 4. I really like how the like aesthetic of Medusa, or maybe even Untamed. Medusa's got that whole like whacked up queue and stuff.
Thinking the ones I've ridden, there's a few that come to mind because they actually like they just flow really good. Of course, Lightning Rod at Dollywood. I mean, the whole area is just phenomenal, and then the ride, of course, is great. Iron Rattler's got a really cool like entrance with the big snake statue and then some trains. What other one was I gonna say?
It's Twisted Timbers is pretty good, and personally, that's the best. That's the best themed one I've personally been on. I realize there's probably better ones, but like of what I've been on, that's probably the best themed one.
Yeah, going off of that, like Twisted Timbers kind of has that like a creepy, like you don't like, it's like a mystery theme of like a what the heck happened. So I kind of like that aesthetic of it, and the color scheme is kind of cool. Like the red track.
Another one is Outlaw Run. Outlaw Run has a really good setup.
Yeah.
I'll give
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Tryhard Award because they
Twisted Cyclone.
Twisted Colossus is.
Twisted.
I was just about to bring that up. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, he's right.
Area, but it's like a Tryhard because they didn't get everything right.
Right.
Oh wow.
No, it definitely doesn't look like it's done like to the fullest potential it could be.
Color scheme wise, though, Iron Gwazi looks the best.
Gwazi,
Iron Gwazi looks great.
I love Gwazi's whole setup, like with the I guess. I mean, it looks like I don't even know how to describe it. It looks like something I would see in Animal Kingdom, but just with no theming. Like I guess you could call it African type theming. Doesn't actually go with the name Gwazi. And Gwazi's theming itself doesn't even go with the name Gwazi, because Gwazi is half lion, half tiger. Now it's themed to a crocodile or an alligator, whatever they want to theme it to now. And then it has like an African hut type theme. Like it just doesn't. I mean, I love the way it looks. It just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, I was just saying color scheme wise, I like it.
Yeah, but it is beautiful. But excuse me, how do you go from a mammal to a reptile? Exactly. You know, it's just amazing. And remember, you was talking about RMC names. What do you think about Storm Chaser at Kentucky Kingdom?
Solid. It has no theming.
It's probably the most.
I know.
What about Air Force One?
Yeah. Oh, that's
Air Force One could be cool.
Let's see what happens.
I like the color scheme.
I
love the color scheme of that.
So talking about Gwazi, if anyone's familiar with He-Man, Snake Mountain, like I feel like Gwazi was totally themed after that, like Snake Mountain look.
Snake Mountain, I remember that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, He-Man's. Yeah, that's
like,
cool.
Open up a picture of it, like, and it's very reminiscent of that.
Yeah, look it up, Colin. Masters of the Universe, He-Man, the Snake Mountain.
He-Man, Snake Mountain.
That was pretty cool. You know about it, Tom? And
Sammy? I know about He-Man.
That's good. You're not too young. What about you, Sammy and Lucan?
No.
Oh, you know about it, Sammy? No. He-Man's great. That's back in our days. Oh wow! There you go. Oh man, that's just a marvel right there. Oh man, that's a marvel.
I had to dig deep on that one, but it's totally
you did. You did great. Wow, that's a good one. Yeah, such a freaking awesome, great coaster, Iron Gwazi.
It is. Speaking of, actually, that reminds me, I did see in the chat somewhere, if I can find it. Here we go. From Brian. Hey, Colin, excited about the Gwazi record. Any word on when the certificates are shipping? And Ace, were you able to lock in with your proof?
I didn't hear anything about that yet. Like lock in.
I didn't hear about it either.
But but listen, when it all comes down to it, strictly coasters, of course. Listen, I just got I got satiated. Well, I know you did too. So that's the main thing before it closed, because you heard that it closed down recently, temporarily. So I'm happy. I'm happy for both of us, actually. I'm sure you are too, Colin.
Yeah.
For your record, and then the fact I enjoyed myself and got my fill in. So yeah, I didn't get that, but it's all good.
I think now may be a good time to start going through the chat, looking at their questions, because there are some that we did miss.
Okay.
Looks like the first one we have here. Well, first, hello, Jangles front bottom, and then Jingles back top. Hi, Jingles back. It's an interesting name. Jingles back top here. Just curious, when are we to see a Hollywood movie soon?
Oh wow!
I'm up to make a Hollywood movie whenever anyone else is. I would love to see a Hollywood movie. There's so many interesting characters in the lore of Hollywood, I guess you could say. So it could be interesting.
You said Can you repeat that again? The what of, you said the what of Hollywood?
The lore of Hollywood.
Wow, interesting.
Yes, it could be a lot of interesting stuff.
Yep.
Hollywood.
We have
Japan.
Katie joining us from Magic Mountain. I hope you're having fun there. Hopefully, I'll get there eventually.
Great.
Is she technically messaging us from the past? Because it's like 3 hours behind over there.
Yeah, I guess.
I like to ask the important questions.
Did you do anything else at Sesame Place yesterday? Well, we rode Oscars. We rode Vapor Trail. We filmed on both. Then we left. Then we went to Great Adventure.
I made eye contact with Zoe for like 5 seconds. That was kind of funny.
Oh. I mean, I have a lot of POVs that were made yesterday at Sesame Place, so stay tuned for those, of course. I did edit the vlog from yesterday. I know I have not been up on vlogs at all. I still have to make the one from the day we filmed at Great Adventure and interviewed Salim. That was quite the day. I still have to make that vlog, but they'll all be out eventually, I hope. Now we have some of the stuff about Wildcat's Revenge. Wildcat's Revenge looks fun. I was very surprised when I found out they were doing a steel lift structure. I mean, I had been told prior, what I had been told was pretty close to what it wound up being. I think I was told it would be themed to Twizzlers. It would be around 170 feet tall with the truss structure, and it would be similar to what it is now, just taller. So close enough. Personally, I think the name isn't the best. Yep, I think Iron Cat would have been a really good name, but
Interesting.
Wildcat's Revenge is cool too. Just happens
Yeah.
to be the third coaster in Pennsylvania themed to Revenge.
Yeah, keep the name, keep the history.
Wildcat's Revenge looks like a fantastic fit for Hershey Park. Will be a new highlight attraction for the park. I think it definitely has potential to top Skyrush. I haven't ridden Skyrush in 2 years, so I don't really remember it as well as I would like to, but I'm very excited for it.
Yeah.
Next up here, we have another one. I've seen a lot of complaints about the name. I think Hershey felt obligated to have Wildcat incorporated in the name for two reasons. One, 100th anniversary of original Wildcat is in 2023. And second reason, Wildcat was Nick Panelone's favorite coaster at Hershey Park. He was a respected park employee who lost his life due to cancer, and there's a plaque for him near Wildcat. And he also did the spiel for Wildcat, it's Wildcat time in 3, 2, 1. That was him. So I do hope they try to incorporate something from Nick into the new coaster. I think it'd be cool to see the plaque return and maybe his spiel be sort of reused for this coaster. I think that'd be a really nice homage. And of course, the 100th anniversary of Wildcat. I mean, it goes without saying they had to keep the Wildcat name.
All you guys have been on Banshee, right? At Kings Island. Mm-hmm. I know it's more of a joking thing. It's more of a joke, of course, the way they've done the funny little twist on how they put 2009 Son of Beast plaque. But put a nice plaque, but a better version right in the front would be really cool of Nick. That would be really nice. Now that I thought about it, that'd be nice to have like a plaque to commemorate Nick.
Well, they had a plaque in front of Wildcat, the original Wildcat.
Okay.
So I imagine they'll probably bring it back for
Revenge. That'd be great. They should.
Also, Hershey Park will get a lot of flack if they don't put speakers on the brake run and play the damn seal sound for the brakes.
Yes.
They need to do that. In a lot of the recreations on No Limits that I've seen, people have, added in the sound effect of Wildcat's brake run. It's too funny. Here we have about Dragster. Will Top Thrill be refurbished by Zamperla? Now, I'm assuming you're referring to El Toro Ryan's video. It's definitely possible. I think it's got to be them or Intamin because there's no way Cedar Point is outsourcing that far out. I mean, Zamperla is surprising enough if they go that route, but any further than that, I think they're being very risky. Personally, I think Zamperla is not necessarily – they don't have the greatest track record in terms of
I don't think they're fit for this job.
I don't think so either. I don't really know how they'd really do. I think it's just a big gamble, and I don't know if it's worth taking that gamble just to avoid working with Intamin. I don't know what they're thinking, if that's what they're
kind of petty.
do.
No,
yes.
Go ahead.
Ever. I don't think anyone but Intamin touches it. There's too much liability. Like, this is coming out of someone who's been in manufacturing. Like, you subcontract this to someone who's construction but isn't familiar with the ins and outs of the systems. I just think that's a nightmare. I mean, they could shock us, but I think, with all of these Intamin launch coasters, you got to go to them. Like, it's a pain in the butt, but like, it doesn't matter like who they go to. There's too much liability. I don't know that any other manufacturer would want to work on those platforms.
That's a good point.
Definitely. I agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe it's going to be Intamin, and I believe that Zamperla's is thrown in the mix because you know how they do it. They don't want to let the cat out of the bag, so they threw that in there. So just to throw everybody off, I believe Intamin's in on it to do what they got to do. Because that would make perfect sense.
They just launched that vertical launch product.
Yeah.
I mean, the timing on that is just too coincidental.
Yep. It's true.
Follow the customs forms. Forms. Where did
that
I think it did go to Italy.
Went to Italy.
And it's 3 hours from Zamperla and 4 hours from Intamin. So it's kind of a 50-50. Next up, we have a question I really like. How did all of you meet and begin taking theme park trips? Ace, let's start with you because I think you have the most.
Be like the first 10 minutes of the Collywood movie.
Just, my God! Oh, absolutely.
The preamble.
Listen.
Ace was what led to. I mean, I don't know about everyone else, but I know Ace is what led to myself and Tom doing what we do now.
Yeah, I appreciate
That's
that.
insane.
And my like your dad likes to say, you're crazy. Listen, I'm happy that I got your father and you to just take this crazy Cedar Point, Kings Island, and Cowens trips and all these other trips that you've done, even over Georgia. I never thought y'all would ever get there, and I'm glad y'all did get there. So yeah, I met Colin and Phil in 2016. This is where this all began, and now we have this huge entourage now, which I'm proud and blessed to say that we have. And ever since we've been friends, and then of course. Second is Tom. Wow, no, 3 years ago we met in 19, right? 2019 we met
I think
Tom.
it was like the tail end of 2018, so basically 2019.
Yeah, we met you.
Yeah,
which is awesome. Sam, go ahead.
No, I was saying I think I met you guys while I was still working at the park as a ride op, and then it went from there.
Yeah, I know you probably met me because I've always gone to Skull Mountain on the dead days. Yeah. And Sammy, when did we meet? I know we met like a little after you met Tom.
Well, I met Colin, was it back end of 18 or back end of 19?
19.
Yeah,
19.
And I met you too.
Yeah, because I don't know if Ace was there that day, but I think I met you like at some point later, holiday at the park that year.
Mm-hmm. And Luke, did we hang out before?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think the only person I've actually met in person out of everybody here is Colin.
Okay.
And I think it was for like a brief 2 minutes too.
Okay.
Yeah, that was way back in 2018 at Busch Gardens.
We were at the same hotel.
Yeah.
and then, I think I saw you at Great Adventure a couple of years ago, but I was in a tight, hot queue, and I didn't want to yell out at you or something. I saw you guys getting off the ride, and I was just like. I'm like that was like, I'm not sure if you remember, Colin, but
that was a horrible day.
That day being awful.
That was the worst day of the season.
That was terrible. And I happened to go that was the only bad experience I ever had at Great Adventure. I don't know what was going on, but it was just complete anarchy.
And and Darius I'm sorry.
I just bumped into you randomly in my
tell the story. Go ahead.
Got off a plane, went to Great Adventure, and bumped into Ace, and the rest is history.
As usually happens.
That actually I have to say is a blessing, because instead of being dejected like I was yesterday with Kyle being close for the season for the first time, at this time in 8 years since 14.
Colin, there's a super chat.
I know, I'm just gonna let them finish up the question.
Listen, amazing that it was closed, which was a blessing because we met you. And not only we met a new friend, tons of information, and you spice up the chat even more because you know so much about coasters. So it's just amazing how things happen. It was one of many days that car was closed. That's why it's a joke. So actually ended up being the reason why we met you, which is great. Yeah. And of course I started taking theme park trips in 13, the little ones, going to Virginia for Busch Gardens, and of course going to Cedar Point. And then I just started expanding. Once I discovered, what is that, cruise control? Got comfortable with it. I said, I'm not going to be a control freak. I'm going to put cruise control from Canada, from Lerone. Once I did that, that was it. That's when everything took off in 15. And of course I met you guys, Colin and Phil, in 2016. So that's my story.
You have to cut you short, Ace. We have a super chat. I'll come back to this question afterwards.
Yeah.
It was super chat from John Joseph Gray IV. Thank you, John. So Ka and Medusa are done for the season, and Holiday in the Park drive-through is canceled. So why not close up now and be like, okay, see everyone next year, or even just sell off the park now?
I agree that closing King to Ka early without announcement is reasonable grounds for selling the park. You can't do that. That's not a sustainable business model.
Yeah, they kind of sold the bag on that one, but
no, I'm kidding. By the way,
Nitro. We have Devil and Nitro, so it's there.
It was just kind of weird. I know Ace, Tom, and Darius, we were all there on Saturday at different points. It was Holiday in the Park in 80-degree weather without lights. That's what it was.
Essentially, yeah.
Great Adventure being open this past weekend and this weekend coming up, and I guess the weekend after too. I don't know if they would usually go that late though. Is to get our final rides of the season on Ka, Medusa, and of course formerly as Bizarro and Mine Train. So I know typically I stay very positive on the channel, but I was very disappointed about that.
Yeah,
I mean I can see why they did it. I assume they want to get a head start on repairing El Toro for the 2023 season, but an announcement definitely would have been nice. Just a little more transparency.
I thought Medusa was going to be open for Holiday in the Park this season.
No, well,
it was rumored. It was always
anything
rumored.
that was planned before November of 2021 probably got totally shaken up. Let's just put it that way. But I don't know. I think it would have been nice, like, for those of you who maybe aren't as familiar with coasters as we are, Jeffrey Siebert is the park president at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. And I know for everyone that follows him on Instagram, he is probably the most transparent individual in the theme park industry. He will be totally upfront with everything about the park. If a ride needs to be closed, he's going to tell you why. He's not just going to tell you it's closed. Like when Wonder Woman had to go to one train, when it was closed over the summer, it's because they were trying to make it better. And he said they were doing track work to make it better. When Wonder Woman was stuck on one train, it was because the other two trains got shipped out to RMC so that they can be repaired. And he outright said that to the audience. So I think transparency really goes a long way in building a bond with your fan base. And I just wish that all theme parks could be transparent. I know I kind of went off on a bit of a tangent there, but that's my rant for the night, I guess.
Yeah,
No, I
would
think
have
that's
liked
good
to have
crowd
known.
education. Sorry.
No, you can go ahead. I was just going to echo what I said about the transparency being appreciated. Like, it would have been nice to have a warning that, this would be our last day to get all those rides in.
Jeez, I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, oh my God. I'm trying to be positive too. And again, we're spoiled since 2015. You know this very well, Darius, that we've had the habit of Holiday in the Park since 15. And we're not used to this. We used to Ka being open. Actually, Ka and Toro and Medusa usually open until the 13th, the Veterans Day. So we usually have another week on top of this weekend. What a disappointment. I was just like Colin alluded to, extremely disappointed. It took the wind out of my sails yesterday. You saw me yesterday. Yeah, I came
really
there for Ka. I was too bad. Yeah, extremely deflated, no pun intended. And it just wasn't a good thing. Thank God I got 13 rides on Ka last week because it was the first time Ka was open in a month for me of my visit. So I got 13 rides last week. That helped.
Think how God. I felt. I flew all the way from
Antonio
to get on Ka one more time before the end of the season, and it was closed. But Colin, you said something about the transparency of the San Antonio Park. Absolutely. Yeah. But I got a little bit of a coaster conspiracy theory. I think they were tired of people taking pictures of what was going on at Toro from the exit.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of work going on there. So I think that was part of it. But I also think, the maintenance call out, El Toro being in maintenance mode. You have, Ka, which probably needs a little bit of TLC this season. I think that, the other part of the equation was that. And let's not forget, every time they launch one of those is another tick on the manufacturer maintenance. So like photocopiers, the more you run them, the more you pay them. So I think they were just putting some cost cutting measures in place and trying to reduce some of their exposure on El Toro.
Yeah, I heard, I don't know how true this is, but I heard like they just got their new shipment of wheels for next year and they didn't want to start like digging into them because they replace wheels daily. So I heard they just didn't want to start digging into the new wheels as like cost cutting.
But that would explain everything on that side all of a sudden being done at the same time.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah. But you know what? Actually, I got on Nitro yesterday, and you can allude to this too, Colin, and listen, and Tom, that front right seat on one of those Nitro trains, let me just put it this way, they let those wheels just wear out. I felt it, and they're not going to put no new wheels until 23, and I can understand that. So that's what they're doing. So you don't want to save, you don't want to burn out next year's wheels. That makes sense. So, yeah, especially for Kyle.
Well, moving back up in the chat to the question we were at before, if I can find it, there it is. You guys can finish up. I know there's a little bit more to say. Starting with Ace. Ace was in the middle.
Y'all meet and begin taking things.
I think we hit most of the beats on
I pretty much hit most of it. I pretty much it was all of us in this collaboration. I know I definitely had my hand in inspiring you and your dad with my crazy trips the last 7 to 8 years of taking, which is it feels great. Like I alluded to in the interview chat on last Saturday, boy, it's nothing better than see somebody smile on somebody's face. And to see, you did it just like I did. It's great. Just like Darius, if you do a park that I haven't done, you don't know the park that I've done pretty much, but it feels great. Oh, you've done Magic Mountain. You've done this. It's a great feeling. Just like my Playland when we went there.
We got to do Europe and Asia.
Yes, we got to
Yeah,
do.
it's
We
nice.
definitely got to do Energylandia, the Europe parks first and foremost. It's easy to get Europe. It's a little easier than Japan, but Europe got knock them out.
You're planning what? Poland and Japan for
With you
down the
guys, yeah.
pipeline, right?
And Darius, you invited too. Of course, we want to do that. Colin, myself, Phil, Chris, and Tom, and perhaps James. He could join us too. We'll let you know too. And I probably got my other Virginia buddy who works in Kings Dominion. He's a Richmond, Virginia resident. So it's gonna be a super trip if you go out there. That'd be great.
It's what we could do, because typically when it gets over 4 people, it gets out of hand. You can just take half and take the other half.
Yes.
One half does Poland, the other half does Japan, and you switch. And when the planes fly right past each other, and then we get to do the same amount of stuff in the same amount of time.
That's funny. No, we could do the same trip together because I'm at the point in my life. Actually, listen, I'm old. You know, I've been in this world since I was 7. And listen, whatever we get, I don't care if it's the front row, back row. There's no bickering. Listen, the way things are now, thank God that we can get on. Listen, see how many people that can't even get on a roller coaster because they have maladies? Listen, let's enjoy it. We could all do it together because as you can see, us at our best, the sky's not even the limit. I think we'll do very well with it. Listen, we'll do
I'm going to tempt you. There's a Togo Heartline. Look at that.
Wow.
Togo Heartline.
Wow. You got all the overseas parks. It's pretty cool. Makes us really want to do it. Wow, I can't wait to go to Energylandia. That's the big bucket list park. Gonna have 20 coasters next year. The Magic Mountain of the overseas in Europe.
I do want to say
that mine train open.
The
mine train.
The crazy trips that you inspired us to do.
We have 2 super chats.
Okay, let me jump down to that.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. All right, first we have John with another donation. Thank you, John. One thing I do somewhat know about corporate America is they can be two-faced 1 minute acting like a friend, then the next being like a snake. Yeah, you're right on that one, John.
That's right. Corporate America is evil, and to protest corporate America, I will be buying passes to each major theme park chain this Black Friday when they run their sales.
Yeah, that's something else. Corporate America, it actually has infected for many years, for eternity, even the work world. That's why people are the way they are.
Remember, let's stick to coasters on the stream.
No, I'm not going beyond that. I'm just talking about whatever they have here.
Alex, thank you for the donation. Alex, I'm sure some people may not know him. He makes some really, really cool theme park content, travels the whole country. He resides over on the West Coast. So he's at Magic Mountain a lot. Really, really great content. Check out his channel. He has some really cool stuff.
You mind if I shout out one of his videos, Colin?
Yes, go right ahead.
So he went to the way I found his channel was, I think, some kind of backyard coaster in Arizona or something. It was really cool, man. And I know Sammy could probably appreciate that more too. But I
talked to the guy who made it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
No, that was a really cool coaster. Let's see. Back up to here. I do want to say the crazy trips are still to come. There's going to be even more on their way. Stay tuned. That's all I'm going to say. Next,
you were going to say. I thought you were going to say something about the crazy trip I inspired you.
Ace. Next up. Hi, Jingles back top here again. What were your original Wildcat predictions?
I had 3 inversions, not 4. I didn't think they'd be able to pull off 4. That was it.
I just thought they'd need one.
Okay. I was expecting 170 or maybe at least 160.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad about 140. I like the smaller RMCs. I just thought like the way that they've been going recently, I was expecting a little bit of a bigger lift hill.
Yep.
Yeah, I expected a little more height. A candy theme for sure that was the only real solid prediction that I thought I had, but obviously that didn't come to be. I didn't really speculate much on it.
Yeah, I pretty much I thought it was gonna be a little taller, a tiny bit faster, maybe a little longer. I think I said 3 or 4 inversions. I can't remember, but kind of what I expected. But I'm not gonna complain. The pacing, I think the pacing is gonna be one of the elements that people aren't talking about right now that's really going to come up and surprise people when we start seeing it testing. And just I think it's really what these new RMCs are going for is the pacing, and I think that's how Air Force One is gonna make its money. And then I know this ride's gonna also really blow people away.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier in the stream, I was expecting a little more height. I figured it'd be maybe around 170 feet. I mean, I'm not saying I'm disappointed. I just thought it would be a little taller. I mean, they have very limited space to work with. So, I mean, obviously they did what they could. I wasn't expecting the underflip. I mean, I guess considering it's a GCI makeover, I should have saw it coming. But I wasn't expecting that to be the first element. But it is cool for the fact that the turn out of it kind of resembles Wildcat's drop. So I think that's just really, really cool that they were able to kind of pay homage. I do got to pause because it looks like we have another super chat. Thank you, Intense Thrills, for the super chat. I'm feeling great today. How about you guys?
Awesome.
Feeling pretty good.
Pretty good.
Feel average.
Good.
All right, back up
The
to
The only thing I kind of wish is that they went underflip into into like a whatever. Oh my god, why am I blanking on the name? Like an off-axis kind of.
I think the
Like
underflip,
the
like the
Untamed
exit
thing.
of it, shouldn't be just a flat turn like that. I think there should be something to spice it up. I know in the animation it has like a weird kink in the middle of it where it like straightens out then twists again. I don't think that's gonna happen in the real one, but I think that would have been cool just to have something to kind of spice up just the regular turn like that. But if it pulls strong positive G's, I'm sure it'll be a great element. I wasn't expecting it to be as short in track length as it is. Well, I should say duration because it's decently long in track length. But just looking at the layout from overhead, because obviously we don't have a POV yet, it just seems like it's over really quick. But that's probably because it's going to fly through the layout. I mean, you have the underflip, you go through an airtime hill, an off-axis hill like Wazi, presumably a wave turn, then you go down into the stall, then into a turn, whether that's going to be another wave turn or that's just going to be a turn, I don't know, and you go up. And I thought this element originally kind of looked like Ride to Happiness's first element where you pop up, turn, and then drop, but it's more like a double down, so I'm sure it's still going to be good. It's going to have a lot of laterals. Then you fly up into the 0G roll. And I find it interesting that no one's talking about this element that much because looking at the way it's pitched from the animation, it looks like you're going to get like stupid good airtime twisting up into it, almost like Jersey Devil's first inversion where you just get popped right out of your seat and then twisted with laterals. That's kind of what that looks like. So as long as it flies through it and it has that same angle, I think that'll be a really good element. I mean, the rest of the ride is kind of just standard RMC stuff. You go through an overbank, other 0G roll, and then 2 airtime hills. But I think it's still a strong layout, and it's very different than other RMC layouts we've seen. I mean, it still has some of the same elements, but it kind of throws them together in a different fashion. So I'm happy with it overall.
I think they missed an opportunity to do something a little different with this one. You know, I thought an underflip, and you know, some people think I'm crazy. Underflip to a half loop return, like a 180 coming back on, like that would have been, I think, the best element for one of these conversions yet. But I don't know. I think it probably takes up a little more space than they had, and I think it probably is a little bit of an intense maneuver. It might have a little too much G coming out of it. So, but I want to see one of those. They do it on their single rails. I'd love to see them do it on one of their conversions.
Yeah, I agree. Anyone else have thoughts? Because I know this is definitely a good question. Ace, anything?
I'm looking forward to it.
Wow, Ace doesn't have anything for this question. All right, next up. Great event. Okay. Someone's confident. Great Adventure Giga. What year? And an Intamin instead of a B&M. It's cheaper than Intamin. 25 million Intamin, B&M 30 million. No. So if we're getting a Great Adventure Giga, it's 2024. It's the 50th anniversary. They're going to do something. Obviously, if you've seen my videos, I'm thinking it's going to be a Giga based off what Salim has said. As for the manufacturer, I'm leaning B&M just because Six Flags hasn't worked with Intamin in a very long time. Whereas B&M, they seem to have just started a new relationship with them, a newfound one, so to speak. So I think it'll definitely be B&M before it's Intamin. And cost, I think Salim may be all right with splurging a little bit for a big coaster if it means a return on investment and a premiumization of the parks as he definitely wants to do. I don't think they're going to go with an Intamin. They're not as reliable historically, and they just after King Ka and now what they're dealing with Toro, I don't think they want to deal with Intamin for now.
I think there's more hope for a Giga with Salim than some of the past CEOs with Six Flags. Like Salim is kind of adopting some aspects of the Cedar Fair strategy, which is, you know, everyone's got an opinion on it. I think it's going to benefit some of the bigger parks, but I know, you know, like he said, they're investing a lot of money in the parks. I think he said this in the earnings call. They're going to invest a lot of money in the parks this year to really uplift some of these parks that, you know, aren't in the best shape. I know there's probably like 3, 4, 5, 6 Flags parks you look at, you're like, you know, those parks aren't really that nice. But I think Salim's going to work on that this year, and then hopefully 2, 3, 4 years down the line, we'll see a B&M or two come every year, and maybe an RMC. But I think Salim will be more like open to bigger investments.
I'm thinking a drop coaster. I know everyone's saying Giga. They're missing it. Like we have Nitro. I think they put a drop coaster in. Not a Dr. Diabolical. I think it's something steeper, bigger, like a little gnarlier, wider, but I think it's a drop.
Maybe a 250.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Green Lantern disappear.
I think that's what most people feel, but it'd be interesting if we got a dive, because isn't Hershey also rumored to be getting a dive eventually, like within the next 5 or?
Lately, I've been hearing wing. I was hearing dive before that, but now I've been hearing wing. So I don't know what they're going with.
It'll be it. I think we're gonna see a lot more sort of like indirect competition between Hershey and Great Adventure with what they're getting. So I don't know. That'll be fun for both parks, I think. So. A little healthy, friendly competition's nice, and I think a Giga would be a really good step in that direction. I mean, yeah, we have Nitro already, but that doesn't stop parks like Carowinds from having Intimidator and Fury in the same park, not too far from each other in the park either. So I don't know, anything's possible. I just hope we get a really nice new coaster. I think within the next 3 years.
Yeah, also to support the B&M thing, from what I've heard Salim like at least the Salim era has been more favorable to B&M. I heard from an anonymous source that there were some B&M people over at Darien Lake. Like I don't know if that means anything. Like I know like RMCA sent people out to Kennywood and stuff, but Six Flags is definitely in the works with B&M, and I think you know only like we're only seeing one B&M this year. I think in America, I think is Pipeline the only B&M we're seeing. I
think so.
Yeah. I think B&M's got a bright future in America. I was like, I don't know, but now I'm like, yeah, I think Salim's gonna buy a couple of B&Ms for the Six Flags chain, and you know, Cedar Fair is bound to go back to them. They love them, and then SeaWorld's probably gonna freaking come up with a Giga coaster at one of their parks eventually.
Yeah,
I just got a feeling that it's heading in that direction.
Yeah, I'd say so. Anyone else?
Yeah, absolutely. B&M is definitely extremely reliable. Actually, the most reliable out of the big three, you know, and I can see that would be the quintessential premium experience getting the Giga at Six Flags Great Adventure B&M, of course. There's no way it's going to be intimate.
Yeah, I had a little what if scenario. I wished that B&M had bought the leftovers from Arrow instead of S&S. Right, because then they'd have a 4D coaster that would actually work and would be relatively smooth. Like that would have been an awesome mashup. But my big wish, my Christmas wish right now is to see B&M like put their engineering skills. They already have the wing coaster. I'd love for them to come up with a 4D ride.
They could do that. What you think, Colin? You think they're capable of doing that?
They would just be more like an Axis, if anything.
Oh wow, that's a good one. I've been wishing, you know what, ever since I've gotten on the first X in 2006 and then X2, it was new in 2009, right? 2010, 2009.
Yep.
I've always wished for Great Adventure. The roller coaster is sick. It's just amazing. X2. That would be great to have a second one here in America. B&M, that would blow it out. It would be smoother. Oh, yeah, if you have X2 smoother, it'd make it that much of a better ride experience. It's a great one. Great call, Darius. Pretty cool.
All right, next, well, not questions, a comment from Bacon Chris is going to be a great coaster, in my opinion. I agree with you there, Chris. Did they cancel Holiday in the Park drive-through? As of right now, it is canceled, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think Salim's a big fan of those like little like just those kind of events that aren't like that big.
The ones that aren't premium enough.
Yeah. I think Darien Lake had a drive-through. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I was like, I don't really want to go to that.
It's weird because they were really good for single-day ticket admission sales and stuff like that.
True.
So I know they're trying to generate more revenue for the park. So I wonder if anything might take its place to try to do that. We'll see.
Maybe something within like the big events like Holiday in the Park or something. Maybe they'll come up with something with that.
So we have a question here. So a scenario I hope never happens. If El Toro was RMC'd, what would be a great name?
First things first. I'm sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead, Darius. Go for it.
Either Bite of the Viper or Snake Bite.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I think if they were to do anything, just call it El Toro again.
Yeah.
El Toro Reborn or something.
El Toro Ghost.
Let's just hope it never happens. How about that? But of course, keep the name El Toro if it does happen. But let's just hope it never happens.
They'd probably cop out and do like a Twisted Toro or Steel Bull or Steel Toro or something. There are plenty of better names. So like that just is the trend.
I mean, you can call it just Steel in Spanish and call it a Cerro Toro.
True.
That'd be pretty cool.
All right, forget the name for a second, though. And I hear you guys. It's one of my favorite coasters. But, like, New Jersey weather just doesn't bode well for that ride, man. They're going to be fighting that ride for the foreseeable future. It gets cold. It gets hot. That composite structure is just I don't know. I think it's
I think it's going to get the RMC 208 retrack at some point.
You know what?
Steel track. I think that's, like, coming.
At least on some portions of it.
I see the whole. I don't see them trying to fight that. I think they're just going to do the whole thing.
Yeah, that's a killer. That's true. The you know what happens in the wintertime? Wood contracts, and then it expands in the summer. Just so much going on. You know about that very well, Sammy. You know, because you have a wooden coaster in your backyard. It's just unbelievable.
It's different with the smaller things, though. Like the smaller models don't tend to like get us damaged easily.
Yeah.
No. We're just not going to. I mean, if they don't do something drastic at some point in time, they're just going to have to tear it down, man. That thing's too big.
Yeah.
Wow. So only RMC you're seeing, Darius, to save it in the future?
I mean, that was what killed Mean Streak. I mean, I rode that thing the first year. Yeah, it was still a brain beater, but like it wasn't nearly as it was 4 years later. El Toro, remember year one on El Toro? That thing was smooth as glass.
Yep.
Right?
Yes, indeed.
And then year two, we were like, ooh, like a little bit of a back rub. Year three, it was a train wreck.
Yeah, like I remember going on the back of El Toro, my college friend, this lady, she was cool. She was scared to death coasters. We went on in the nighttime. I remember vividly. That roller coaster was so great back then. It was like a bat out of hell. I didn't have no bumps, no potholes, no nothing. You're absolutely right. That is true. 2006 El Toro absolutely was smooth, like glass. I used to always call it a steel coaster. That was a wooden steel coaster.
I'd be good with a retrack. I don't know that I'd be good with a RMC recontour.
I would love the retrack. What you think, Colin?
I think the best thing that can happen for Toro is if Intamin comes in, or the company that was subcontracted out to make the prefabricated track, they come in and they fully retract Toro. I think it's about time.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? What is this, 2022 now?
Almost 23.
That'll be 23. We're looking at 17. 17 for Toro. So absolutely. 17. That would be pretty much the 17th year.
It wouldn't be 17 by the time they start doing that. If they were to do it, it'd be 16 until June.
Yeah.
Would you guys be okay with losing it for a season?
You said what?
We lose it for a season at least.
Yeah. So that's why you said that's how you came up with the 16 in 2003. I mean 2023. Because we would lose the season, Colin.
Well, I'm just saying. I just said because it's the same age as me. So
Yeah.
however old I am, that
It'd be
is.
17.
Anyways,
It'd be 17.
next question or comment. Hershey could still use Twisted Twizzlers for a Raptor or RMC Lightning Racer. I'm still of the belief that they can squeeze a Raptor or a T-Rex up there by Candemonium and theme it to candy.
I can see a T-Rex.
Oh yeah, they definitely will.
It's a lot of land over there. There's a lot of land over there.
Yeah,
there is. That's why they bought all that land. That's. Go ahead.
Oh, that's really the only place they have any land in the park at this point.
Yeah.
Yo, Lucan and Colin, I'm huge fans of both you guys. Well, thank you, Drew Sloth. Let's see here. If one Six Flags park would get a Giga, what would it be and the year? Great Adventure 2024. If that doesn't happen, then I lose all hope. No, it'll happen eventually.
That'd be great.
If it's not that.
Well,
or Great America.
Remember back then when we had the two greatest years of two great coasters in 2005 and 2006, obviously Con Toro. This would be the park. They were making us the flagship park because remember, many years, you know this very well, Darius, it was Magic Mountain, and then Great Adventures pretty much had that by the throat in 2005 and 2006. Let's just get that back in 2024 and be game on for Six Flags Great Adventure to be the flagship park, even though we won't have 20 coasters, but still having those great coasters with that Giga. What you think, Colin?
Yeah, I agree. I concur.
That'd be great. Yeah, absolutely. Tom?
Speaking of Magic, I'm worried about that place. That's the one I think is the one that's in jeopardy, right?
Yeah.
All the buildings there, like that. I don't know that they're the flagship park anymore. They got a lot of pressure.
Wow. Yeah, they got Superman situations, a lot of stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, next up, this one is for Lucan. Lucan, you were the first coaster enthusiast I've watched. I think you might have subbed to me.
Hey, I mean, I'm all for getting people into the community and keep making the whole group bigger and just grow the little coaster community. I feel like the more people, the better.
Definitely. Tom, this one's for you.
Yes, your first place in the Metropolitan Division, New Jersey Devils. The Rangers are being exposed as a fraud, which is great. You can only ride Shesterkin's back so far. It's going to be a great season for the Devils. Hopefully this isn't just like some sort of fluke. The advanced analytics say it's not, but let's go Devils. It's going to be a great season. Hopefully.
Tom, and that's enough scores for the stream. Moving on. Wildcat's Revenge looks great. Can't wait to ride it. Yeah, Hunter, it looks awesome. I'm so glad Hershey's finally getting what they deserve.
Remember when? You already went to the next.
Let's keep going through the chat because we have a lot of stuff towards the end. Why do parks pick bad names for their coasters and rides that have to be approved by the state? But hold on, there is something I do have to read. Alex, thank you for tuning into the stream. And maybe we'll see you in the next one. Anyways, back up here. Why do parks pick bad names for their coasters and rides? The names do not need to be approved by the state. If anything, they have to trademark the name through the country, and that's about as far as it'll go.
Yeah, the trademark process. This is coming from someone who does it. The trademark process is half of the reason why they can't go with certain names.
And probably why half the stuff is named Goliath or Titan, because they already have the trademarks, and that saves a ton of steps.
Speaking from someone who's done a trademark all on my own, it's not fun. It's long and tedious. So it's smart of them to reuse the names as much as they can.
Someone has like Iron Cat Electrical, and you just can't use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like the Medusa situation. Could have been another name. Yeah, it could have been another name. Actually.
Six Flags Fun. Will Six Flags Great Adventure start year-round soon like Carowinds and King's Dominion? No, not under Salim.
No. And plus the weather's too inclement and too bad. Too much snow and too much cold. Way too much. You gotta know that well. Huh?
I said yes, too much cold.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Virginia is as far north as is gonna get for a year round, unless Hershey decides to take the next step. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, what are your thoughts on the possibility of Zamperla being involved? I think did we answer this?
We
I feel
did, yeah.
Pretty
we did.
much,
Yeah, we did.
And
Yeah,
then
we answered
this
that.
is a response to the question about year round. Considering Magic Mountain just scaled back operations, I'd say no. That's a good point too.
Yeah.
I hope new 2024 coaster will start construction by next year at Great Adventure soon. Well, if there is going to be a coaster in 2024, it needs to start construction next year. Otherwise, it's not happening. So keep your eye out for construction because it'll be starting, sometime within the next
Couple
I don't know,
weeks,
10 months.
honestly. Could be the next few weeks. I don't know.
Yeah, never know. They still have to finish Barnstormer though.
Right.
That's the top priority. Maybe it'll open like December 31st for the last day of the season or something.
That would be really funny.
That's a bit of a cyborg like 2 years ago. Is it Tom?
Yeah, they opened it like the last day of the season.
We thought that they were going to take it out, perhaps, and then what a great surprise!
Got to make up for King of Kai and El Toro somehow.
Yeah. Next up, from Jangles Backtop again. Hi, Jangles here. Question for Mr. Darius. What do you think is going to happen to Grizzly?
Dirty little secret. Never been on Grizzly.
Ooh.
Really?
Really?
Well,
every time I've been there, it's like bad luck.
From what I
feel
heard,
like,
I'm sorry. Go
Let him
ahead.
finish these.
No,
I
I
feel like it's like Final Destination. I don't get on it. Every time I get there, it's closed.
Yeah. So Colin, from what I've heard, because I have my sources, it looks like there's gonna be some retracking.
Well, obviously. I think they're gonna Titan Track.
Man.
From who though? That's the real question.
I think
come on, guys.
Titan Track is the best course of action.
Yeah, they need it.
With all the RMCing going on, you don't think they're going to do RMC?
Nope.
They already got
Timbers right there.
Yeah.
And Grizzly's a ride they would have given like a proper send off to. It's not an unreliable ride. Like they can very easily announce it's closing a little early, then close it and then redo it. King's Dominion,
No.
I know they pulled a fast one with Volcano, but they had to with that. But like I don't think they would just close a ride that really doesn't have any issues in terms of operations. So I just think it's going to be a retrack. And I really hope it's Titan Track.
I think it's going to be the most. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say I hope they fully retrack it with Titan Track.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I was about to say something like that. I think it's gonna be the most Titan Track coaster we've seen yet. And have any of you guys gotten the chance to experience Titan Track at any of the coasters yet?
Yeah. When I was going for my 400th at the first Titan Track coaster at Six Flags Darien Lake, I got on the Predator Glass Smooth, and then it happened the same road trip I went to Michigan's Adventure. And that Wolverine Wildcat was just pretty much nails after that first drop of Titan Track. So it's pretty cool, those two Titan Track coasters.
I've ridden the magical 4-foot section of Titan Track on White Lightning, and it was the smoothest 4 feet of that whole coaster. So,
yeah, I'm sure Ace can speak to this too. On Predator, like they're a little, it goes up into like a little hill before it goes through that helix. You get a little bit of flow to air time, and I never even knew that was possible from the way that hill looks. But the way they can, the precision they have on that Titan Track is amazing, and I think it'd really be great if they get like 1 or 2 hills even on Grizzly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Colin, when did they put the Titan Track? When they put the Titan Track in White Lightning?
When
this
they
year,
first
right?
introduced it, I want to say it was 2021 or 2020.
It's 2020.
So I got on it too.
2020.
I got on in November of 21 when I did my university trip. I've been on all 3 then.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Hey, that would be a good direction for El Toro.
It could.
Oh.
It'd be the same thing as the 208 retrack. It's just who do you want to choose?
Yeah.
But would that take away the wooden mystique of the wooden coaster? Would that take it away of an official wooden coaster? Oh boy,
it would.
That wouldn't be good. I don't want that to happen.
All right, next up. What were your thoughts when you visited Sesame Place? It was not my first time there, not my second time there. I've been there a few times, and it's Sesame Place. It's a kids' park, and there's kids everywhere. And if you go to a theme park and you're surrounded by little kids, you know that they just kind of run wild. So expect that. You're pretty much going, and you're going to stay in that whole front part of the park. So I kind of like that they have the two coasters right next to each other. So realistically, you don't even need to travel to the back of the park because that's where the crowd really sits for some reason. There's a couple flat rides back there, but like up by Oscars and Vapor Trail, it's really not that crowded. But then as soon as you go down the street, it just gets packed. And I mean, it's a kids' park. I mean, adults really aren't expected to just visit there anyways. I'm not sure why they would put Oscars in that park with how intense it is. I'm not complaining though. So it's Sesame Place. You go there for Oscars and Vapor Trail, and then you leave.
Yeah, it was my second ever visit. The first one was about maybe like a couple months earlier, this time 20 years ago. I don't remember much of it. But I mean, yeah, I was glad I finally picked up the 2 credits there because that's been on my to-do list for a while. Same with some other stuff near me that would be pretty easy to get. But I was really surprised. I was pleasantly surprised by the 2 coasters there. It's kind of funny that they don't have anything like a Zamperla family coaster or anything like that. It's something a little more tame, but maybe they don't really urgently need that kind of thing. It seemed like a nice park. Again, everything Colin said is true. Like, you got to be ready to deal with screaming kids everywhere. If you can put up with that, there's 2 nice coasters there, and there's some great Snuffleupagus merchandise as well. So be sure to check that stuff out. It's pretty great.
Yeah, my thoughts is when I visited in 2021, this was a quick trip right after going to Great Event. It was pretty cool getting on those roller coasters. So, and it's also in a unique area, unique neighborhood. That was the thing. Parking lot, a lot of uniquities in that park.
Yeah.
Yep.
Next up, the trains for Wildcat's Revenge are fire. Yeah, they are.
That's the best part about the whole name. I feel like the kind of aggressive theme that it has is like makes the trains as good as they are.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I feel like it would be in between Stormrunner and Skyrush. And in between Stormrunner and Candemonium.
Interesting.
And next up, yes, the seal sounds is exactly what they need. That'll just complete the ride right there. Is there going to be another indoor Warner Brothers World theme park in the USA like Abu Dhabi, and what it could be put in what location in the USA? I don't know, maybe somewhere in the Midwest. They got a lot of room.
You can always use another indoor theme park around somewhere up north.
Ace, any ideas?
No.
Niagara Falls is missing. I mean, you can get to Canada, to Wonderland, you can get there, but like, I'm shocked they've never done anything up near Niagara Falls.
You know, I'd appreciate that, given I only live an hour and a half from Buffalo and Niagara Falls. And I mean, we got Niagara Amusement Park, but that's not going to operate past September, October. So I'd be down. I mean, they have a couple water parks up in Canada, but no indoor roller coasters.
Yeah.
I sure hope for the 50th anniversary of Great Adventure they get a Giga, go to year-round operations, bring back Six Flags TV, and get the world's first TV. Big wish list.
I think Jangle's front bottom is out of his mind.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be nice if all that happened. I don't know if it will.
It's true. Yeah, anything can happen.
Anything can happen in Jersey.
That's right.
Yeah, that's interesting. From Six Flags TV. And I don't see the T-Rex. And definitely not the year-round operations. We're left which was done prior to 2 months. I never
hey, I think you're having some connection issues. You want to just like stay in one spot? And, Well, there goes that.
He'll be back.
I guess we can go to the next question. I believe the LSM launch coaster going to PNE Playland would be Zamperla's first LSM coaster, and that's why I'm worried about them possibly working on Dragster. I just feel like they don't have this experience necessary.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
He's back.
Now,
Oh, there we go.
okay. Now, what was I saying?
But we moved on to the next question because I couldn't really understand.
All right.
I apologize, Ace.
No problem.
Darius, was that you talking before? Someone was talking.
Yeah, I was saying I made my case on the complexity. Like any one of you, hey, I need you to go work on the most complex thing that's ever been put in a park and has maimed someone. Like, do you want to work on it? Sure. Like, I want you to retrack and redo the entire launch. No thanks. Right? Like, I mean, just logically, like, who wants to do that? Like, there's a pretty tall order. I think manufacturer direct has to be the route. And I keep banging
did hear Intamin took Dragster off the website.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, that's what Ryan said.
So I don't know. That's not looking great.
And the other thing that Ryan mentioned is that I believe we think that this coaster is the I don't remember the name of it, but it was some Italian accelerator from an Italian. It was an accelerator from an Italian park, and apparently Zamperla bought it, and they're selling it as their own with a new LSM launch. So I mean that all the more supports them working on Dragster, even though a lot of us don't want that to happen, but the signs are pointing. I think that's why Ryan came. One of the reasons he came up with that was because of this coaster coming out, and then so it's
I'd be
a very
like
real
nervous
possibility.
to ride Dragster after Zamperla does it if that's what's gonna happen. Because I just don't trust that track record.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you gotta endorse all the liability. Like I think Darius was saying, like that ride's got a couple actions under its belt. So if something bad, then I guess it's on you, and you gotta try to figure it out. And I mean, Intamin's had to deal with that before, and they kind of know how to handle it. But Zamperla is pretty, mainly just like flat rides and smaller coasters. So I don't know how that's gonna.
Yeah, I don't see it. Especially with Intamin's, that's Intamin's coaster. There's no way. And Zamperla, what are they doing in the business of trying to retract Dragster via Intamin? I don't see that.
You sound so offended by it, Ace. That even the thought of it.
No,
get that out of here, man.
It's like how you gonna have a heart surgeon as doing construction work? I just can't see it. I've been debating this the whole year. Zamperla versus Intamin, nah. It's just Intamin has to take this by the horns and do what they got to do.
Yeah, Zamperla, the creators of the glorious little devil coaster.
Yeah, that's why I was like, huh? No, it's too massive of a project for Zamperla to be trying to put their hand into.
Yeah. All right, next up, I bet RMC Raptor is coming to Wildwood in the future and Seaside Heights.
Oh, I love that, man. Or at least
I would love that, but I don't think it's going to happen because of Jersey Devil. I could see a Skyline single rail coming, maybe, but I don't know about a Raptor. That's a big investment for those parks.
Mm-hmm. Although I think Maurice could handle it.
Maurice could definitely handle it. Seaside, I don't know.
No,
they keep their things more in the, I guess, lower tier of budgeting. Like for Hydrus, they got like the smallest Eurofighter they could get. It's still a great ride, but they have to keep it affordable for them, of course.
The Skyline. Are you alluding to the one like that's at Discovery Kingdom and SeaWorld San Diego?
No, like the one that's in it's a new model they've announced. Kind of like a plug and play sort of thing, weld free, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
It looks interesting. They just built one in a museum. And I think I did see something in the chat about that. I didn't click on it for whatever reason, but yeah, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, thoughts on Sesame Place's roller coasters. You think both of them are appropriate for children?
Yes.
They're intense for being at Sesame Place. They're intense. Vapor Trail too. I mean, Vapor Trail, when you sit in the back row, my first riding in the back row, I grayed out or almost grayed out. I don't know why it's that intense, but neither one of them are mild. And of course, Oscars is like genuinely one of the best coasters in the area. I mean, the airtime on it is insane for a family coaster. And you'll see some of the POVs, you'll see very little kids. You only have to be 40 inches tall to ride Oscar's Wacky Taxi. And there's these little kids getting tossed up and down out of the seat. It's surprising that the height requirement is that low for that.
Yeah,
ride.
I think I said this when we were talking about our thoughts on the park in general. Like, I'm surprised that those are their two coasters and they don't have something in between, like a Zamperla family coaster. I think that would be a great like next thing for them. Something a little more like directly kid friendly. That's not to say these aren't kid friendly, but like they are they're kind of deceiving in a way. You would not expect something like that out of two coasters at Sesame Place, but I still think they're great.
Like Vapor Trail, definitely more in line with the typical family coaster. I'd compare it more to like Skull Mountain, maybe a little more intense than Skull Mountain, honestly. And then Oscars, that is borderline thrill coaster. I mean, think airtime on the level of stuff you'd see at Great Adventure. It's kind of crazy. And it's smooth, which is nice. Next up, I think Dragster is going to get worse if Zamperla is involved. I'm going to have to agree with you there. It's nothing against Zamperla. I just don't think they're fit for the job.
Hey, Colin, can I hijack?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sitting in Texas. I'm a Jersey guy, but I live in Texas, and I'm actually excited about Coda. Like getting that crazy tilt coaster and palindrome.
Oh man!
There's so much
if you've never been there, I've been going there since Formula One. Like, there's a lot of land, man. They could do something big. They could be a destination park, and the leadership here is all about the thrill. So I'm hoping everyone's getting excited about 5 coasters there in a year, and then boom, boom, boom. I think they're going to keep investing because they got that Formula One money.
Yeah,
I think the USA's Energylandia. If
I was
they
just
play
about to say that. I was just about to say, would you say, Darius, the United States version of Energylandia, perhaps? Wow. Right in the middle of the Six Flags Texas parks. Wow.
Fiesta, Texas is not landlocked in any way that you can imagine. It's in the middle of a quarry, a bowl quarry. You're not building anything else. Like, there's a couple of spots, two coasters max, that you'd be able to squeeze in there unless you want to take something out of the parking lot. So like, that's landlocked. Let's just be clear, over Texas, it'd be pretty difficult to add anything there.
Yep.
Like, these guys are going to have a field day. Like, if you've ever been there, like it's just fields, and the free space that they've left surrounding the track, I'm super excited about it.
I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I think we are on the brink of another Coaster Wars.
Yes.
Like, I think it's on the horizon.
Yeah. When do you think it ended?
Like you said, Coda Land's going to play their cards right.
Oh, yeah.
Hershey Land's going to start fighting Great Adventure. Magic Mountain's going to keep pulling out. And, like, it's
Cedar
going to
Point's
be a
got to
field
strike
day.
back. That's
something's going to happen with Top
Island.
Dragster.
So, guys, when do you think, whether it's you, Darius, Sammy, Luke, and Tom, or Colin, when do you think that the Coaster Wars ended? Would you say after Car? Because nobody has built over 500. Okay.
Yeah.
What about
you
guys?
can maybe stretch it to Formula Rosa.
The recession probably ended it.
After Rosa? Okay.
I'm going to say it was the recession that ended it. Like, people didn't have the money to spend it.
Yeah. Because Great Adventure would have gotten a Giga probably in 2008 that Phil and I alluded to.
Yeah, I don't think it ends with, like, one particular coaster being like, okay, this is, like, the coaster to end the Coaster Wars. I think it was just the circumstances of the economy at the time.
Yeah, 2008. Yeah, that did it. Yeah, what an interesting.
Coda's going to kick it off. They're either going to go after a speed or a height record in the next 2-3 years.
Wow.
I think speed. I could definitely see speed.
Speed. Yep.
I could see height, to be honest. If Zamperla is trying to work on Dragster, I think we could see some bigger coasters coming up.
I can 100% see that that tower Polar Coaster going to
Wow.
Coderland. It just seems like I don't know.
Wow.
it
I
just
think
feels like a good
I
fit.
think the Polar Coaster got completely canceled.
Yes.
No, but I could see their
Orlando.
model being transferred to like Coderland or something along those lines could happen.
I could see them getting the first T-Rex.
Yeah. Too nuanced in Florida, especially Orlando. It's for another day. I don't want to hijack, but yeah, it's too nuanced with that. What happened with the Florida coaster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, I think I might have lost my spot here a little bit. Yes, I did. Anyone remember where we were? Oh, this is where we are. Okay. ERT on Wildcat's Revenge next CocoCon. That needs to happen.
It will. I could see that
What
happening.
season is CocoCon in again?
What?
What season is it in? I always forget.
Usually
Next year.
like late summer, fall, I think.
Oh.
Okay.
I think September, actually.
It's right after whatever.
A little after Thrillathon.
Yeah, Thrillathon.
Jeff Siebert is an incredible park president. He sure is.
Yes,
Adding
he
on
is.
to that, we did meet him in 2020. It was actually quite the story. So for those of you who haven't been to Fiesta, Texas, I'm sure Darius can agree with me here. They are like the kings of firework spectaculars at the end of the night. They do such a good job. I mean, they have projections on the quarry wall, fireworks everywhere, music synced. It's something. So on our final day at Fiesta, Texas in 2020, we got a little rained out towards the end of the day. We were trying to get some last night rides in. Unfortunately, didn't get it. But we knew we had to stick around for the fireworks because it had been hyped up to us. So we were standing around by Iron Rattler. We didn't really know where to go to watch the fireworks. And then we happened to see Jeff just walking around. So we talked to him for a little bit. He said, hey, you guys want to go see the fireworks? Follow me. So he took us through the middle of the park where Dr. Diabolical is now, obviously before it was built, walked us straight through the backstage area right in front of the quarry wall where all the seating was set up, just walked us over there. And we were talking to him for a little while, and then the show played, and there was maybe 100 people in the park at that point. So instead of doing what most parks would do and closing the park and sending everyone home, canceling the fireworks, he kept that park open for the 100 people that were there and put on one hell of a show. And that's a big reason why I have so much respect for Jeffrey Siebert and so much respect and love for Fiesta, Texas. It's truly one of the best parks out there.
Listen, I've been to Fiesta, Texas quite a few times too. I went and during the unfortunate lockdown pandemic year. And let me tell you, the gentleman, Jeffrey Siebert, I met him as soon as I was walking through the, the COVID things where they used to take your temperature. And I spoke to him. And he was like so down to earth. I was like, how you doing? I'm from Great Adventure. I know you know John. And he was just so nice. And I saw him again at the Superman. And you know what they did? They closed out the first row when I was about to get on Superman on the regular queue. And he came there and said, no, guys, you got to open the first row. He's all about the people. What a gentleman. One of my favorite park presidents outside of John Winkler. What a great guy.
Definitely.
I'm so happy he's still there. That's why that park is so great. One of my favorite parks, hands down.
Yeah, prior to 2012, I don't even remember who it was, but he brought a level of transparency. I think that's a great word, because like before him, we'd have rides shut down and there'd be no explanation, and that was like one of the first things he did when he came in and took over. Was like, nope, we're going to tell people why we're doing things. Talk to people. Like he's a man of the people. So I'm glad to hear you guys think about him the same way we do.
Do you think the whole area with Ka and El Toro, etc., is be blocked off after the boardwalk area in Great Adventure? Do you mean during Holiday in the Park? Because it's already blocked off.
Yeah, I just realized I was muted when I said this, but yeah, it already is blocked off the Golden Kingdom entrance, and then at the entrance just beyond the tents, like the Golden Kingdom outpost section, that's already
it's now just like a straight path to connect the boardwalk to the lake path. Kind of odd, but oh well.
Yep.
Jangles back top. Yeah, hi. Jangles here for yet another question. Is the Nitro lawn decoration still coming? I think what you're alluding to would be what John Winkler said at Thrillathon during the Q&A where he heavily implied that something was happening to Nitro over the off season. So I believe that's still going to happen. I hope.
Yeah.
This is back to the backyard coaster. Yeah, Gary is such a nice person. He seems like a really, really cool guy. Definitely go check out Alex's backyard coaster video. It's hard to miss.
Really
It's the most popular video on his channel. It's a really, really good video. Let's see here. What's the furthest you would travel for a one-day trip to a park?
The furthest I have I don't know how far I would go, but the furthest I did travel in a day was 2021 Labor Day. I had just gotten my Platinum Pass from Cedar Fair for the first time, and I took a day trip down from school in Delaware to King's Dominion. That was 3 hours each way, so 6 hours in the car that one day, but it was pretty worth it. The park was dead, got plenty of rides. That's the furthest I have done. I don't know what the furthest I would do is.
I've
probably
done
go
New
to
Jersey.
Dominion from Jersey.
Say that again, Sammy.
Oh, I said I'd probably do Dominion from Jersey in a day. I think that's like the very furthest though, and like
So
you
5
have to,
hours.
play your cards. Yeah, you have to play your cards right.
Mm-hmm.
I consistently do Great Adventure in Magic Mountain from Texas, but the farthest I've gone is Jersey to Magic Mountain. United has a direct flight to LA. You get on at 6, you land at like 9, 10, might be 10. You're in the park, and then you fly back on the red eye.
I've done, I know you know this very well, Colin. Back in 2012, before I started, taking these crazy road trips, I used to fly all the time. I've flown to Florida because I used to be an annual Disney guy from 2009 to 2016. So I've flown to an insane trip to Orlando to do Disney, all 4 parks in one day, and I was right back within 24 hours. And then the farthest I've driven in the 24-hour period to Busch Gardens and back. That was probably in 2014.
Anyone else, Lucan?
I'm still kind of figuring this out because I just got my license, and the farthest I've done yet, I went to Sylvan Beach, which is like an hour and a half from me, so not very far. But I'm definitely gonna. I did go to Waldemere in a day this year, but I went with some other people, but which is like 3 hours. So yeah, I definitely do Waldemere. For me, it would be like 3 hours each way. And then I think I'd be willing to try 4 depending on the park. Like Knoebel is only 3 hours for me, so that's I haven't been there in years, so I like to do that. And then in terms of flying, I don't know. I'm not huge on flying here and back at the same thing, but I gotta applaud Darius for being able to do that. But I don't know. I definitely have to experiment with it a little bit.
I mean, personally, I don't know how far. I mean, I can't drive yet. I get my license in March. So I'd just be sitting as a passenger, of course. But in terms of how far I'd be willing to sit in the car, I mean, it gets uncomfortable after a while. It really depends on the circumstances, too. I mean, I'm not going to drive, say, 10, 11 hours to a park and pay for admission and, pay for all the stuff. Like, say there's a situation like a media day where we're getting invited out for a certain special occasion, then I'd say, yeah, maybe splurge a little bit, go for a pretty long drive. But, it all depends on the circumstance. But if it's a situation, again, like media day, say there's a new coaster opening, right? I mean, can't miss out on something like that. So that's pretty much where I stand on it.
Yeah. Flying makes things so much easier. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just reading the next question.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Wildcat is going to be a mini Gwazi packed with positive Gs. I think that's very, very possible. If it flies through the course and keeps that 62 miles an hour the whole way through, it's going to be a powerhouse.
It looks like it. If you look at it, like, I don't know, someone made like a map of the layout or something. It was like, might have been Taylor from Coaster Studios, or I think I've seen a couple people do it, but like you could see like the way it looks, it just kind of looks similar to Gwazi.
Yeah. All right, next up. Looks good, especially that little, yes, that's something I mentioned earlier in the stream. I think that element, that 0G roll that's pointed down, it's gonna surprise a lot of people. I think that's gonna be the hidden gem of the ride, so to speak. Let's see here. So 2024 looks to be the big year for coasters everywhere. Any early predictions? I think every chain is going to have one or two parks, maybe more, that's getting a huge, huge investment. Take that as you will. Anyone else?
I mean, there's the obvious one that all of us, I'm pretty sure we're all on the same page that Great Adventure will be getting something for 2024 that's big. I don't know who else beyond that.
Built to Thrill is a pretty good 2024 coaster plan. Gonna put that out there right now.
Ace, what do you
think? Roll. World record for inversions and a backyard coast. Probably be like 2. I mean,
yeah, all I need to do is 2 and I win.
Yeah. And then you probably get media stations from all over the country checking it out.
All you have to do is bank the turn just a little bit more than everyone else, and you have a world first in your backyard. Like, it's really not that hard.
Yeah.
Just do 2 side-to-side banks. You go this way, and then you go up into a spike.
Speaking of new coasters, an announcement on the 17th. Wink, wink, wink. Don't want to miss out.
No, you don't.
What,
Ace,
2024 Tron opens up?
What'd you say?
Which is
Tron finally opens up 2024.
I hope it finally opens up by then.
It's supposed to be opening up like early next year.
Believe it when I see it.
Ace, anything?
You can proceed.
What?
Yeah, I said you can proceed to the next question.
Oh, that is not what I thought you said. Okay. Moving on. This is with regards to Wildcat. Also interested to see how the ops turn out with the load and unload zones. I think that'll help substantially so long as they run 3 trains consistently. They run 2 trains. I think if there's going to be too much overlap, I don't think it'll really work out too well. That's why I think they should probably purchase a 4th train just so that they have it so they can rotate it in and out. Because they're planning on having it run year-round. So next up, Alex, they stack candy even on 2 trains every single time. No chance the ops will be any good. With the load and unload platforms, I think it'll be fine, truly. Let's see. Next up, if I can find where I was. Sorry, there's so many questions, guys. We will get to everything at the bottom of the chat soon. Let's see. 2024, I'm hyped for Pipeline. I'm just a fan of stand-ups. I'm just curious to see how that goes. I think it's either going to be a big hit or a big miss. I don't know if there's really going to be any, or it's just going to be like an okay ride no one really cares about.
That's kind of how I think it's going to be. I think it'd be fun, but
yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I can see that.
All right, next question. What Six Flags parks are likely to get a water coaster? I've been saying this for years. Great Adventures Hurricane Harbor needs a water coaster so bad. It's not even funny.
I don't know. Like, when was the last time they put one of those in? That was like 17 or 18, yeah?
I feel like it was at Great America with whatever they call it. Is it
Wahoo River?
No, not Wahoo River. What's the one? Thunder Rapids. That's what they called it at Fiesta, Texas. I don't know if they called it the same at Great America. But like Thunder Rapids at Fiesta, Texas, that's the one of the Six Flags ones I've ridden, is easily one of the best water slides I've ever been on. It's so good.
It's cool. It definitely is. I don't know. I'm not a fan of water parks, so that's definitely outside of my my happy zone.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. I mean, I like them. I don't love them. The only water park I really love is Volcano Bay because, I mean,
that's
it's
great.
perfect.
You have to go to the DreamWorks one.
That one looks good.
I got to go there.
I worked at Action Park in '95, the year before it closed.
Oh, no way.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
That-
awesome.
Wait, Colin, why didn't you like how Brian had his stories about being a ride op in the last stream? Like, you should have done an Action Park one.
Another day. That's a good idea.
That would be a great idea.
That would be a good idea. Let's see. Next up, I think Sleem sees the potential at Great Adventure and will focus on big investments at the park. He does really like Great Adventure, from what we understand. So, hopefully. Let's see. Busch Gardens Tampa might come out with a Giga. Might is an understatement. They would be stacked if Busch Gardens Tampa gets a Giga. Yeah. The only problem is if they get a Giga, there's a very high chance it will replace Kumba. So,
Yeah.
it's kind of a
Soul for a
win-lose
soul.
situation.
Yeah, it's just too much money to retract Kumba like they did with the Hulk, because it's pretty old. But so it's due for some work on it. So yeah.
All right, next up, B&Ms are too expensive right now given the state of the economy. Parks are looking for budget rides. That is true, too. It's definitely true. Cedar Point has a Hyper, a Giga, and a Strata all in the same park for now. So a Giga can happen at Great Adventure. Yeah, no, I think that's probably their next coaster, honestly. Let's see here. S&S Fourth Dimension coasters cost well over $50 million. I guess someone said that they see a park getting a Fourth Dimension coaster at some point. I mean, I think if something like Edgenica was to be built today, it would be somewhere overseas. I don't think American parks are looking to splurge for something like that. It's dated technology, too. That's the problem. Maybe Codaland. I think Codaland could get an Axis, honestly.
That's what I was thinking. There's going to be when they started. They said there's going to be like a first in America kind of coaster when they were hyping up the Tilt coaster. I was like, oh, it's going to be an Axis, but no, they pull out a curveball, and I'm not going to complain. But that's probably something I could see.
Yeah. Let's see here. How long has Barnstormer been under construction? Since the beginning of the year.
Season, yeah.
The whole season. It's been very entertaining to watch the progress. See, a little bit of grass, then the grass goes away, and the grass come back, then there's a footer, and the grass gets cut again, then some dirt gets moved, then there's another footer. So it's making progress. What's going on with Runaway Train? Nothing. It's just closed for the season now. Let's see. RMC Toro El Matador, which I believe is the bull tamer, maybe something like that in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, so I don't know. I hope it never happens, but let's see here. Do you think Mach can make a Giga spinner? Oh man, that sounds insane. I would love to see a Giga spinner, a Giga Extreme spinner, because Time Traveler is incredible. So I can only imagine something on a massive scale like that. That would be insane.
Which is the coaster, the back spinning car that Mach has?
That's Enzo on Icon. The spinning car is called Enzo. It's on Icon.
Hey, gents, I got to run.
All right, Darius. Thanks you for joining
Darius.
us tonight.
Take care, Darius.
I'll catch you guys on the next one.
I appreciate
All right,
it.
Darius. All right, what'd you say, Lucan?
I was saying that I'm not sure if I was saying something about Enzo, but I wonder how that rides. And then I don't know, but I feel like a Giga Max spinner might be too much. But I've never done Ride to Happiness. I've never done Time Traveler, but they're both not that tall, so I don't know.
True.
They both look really good.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're great.
If you're only able to marathon one coaster ever, what coaster are you going with? Ace, I think you and I may have the same answer.
Actually, I have multiple.
Oh,
There's three of them. Three of my top 10. First and foremost, Fury. That's the easiest one to do. 26 in a day. Then you got Gwazi. And then you also have Ka. I've done 26 times each. Records for me. Personal records, 26 in a day. All three of those. So I could do those. And Toro. Toro, definitely. Those four. What you think, Colin?
I would only put Ka on my list if it was front row every ride. Otherwise,
Wow.
no thanks.
Wow.
I think it's kind of a tie for two. I think Gwazi and Velocicoaster would be the ones I want to marathon most, just because both are such a great experience. Like,
Oh wow,
I just love both of those rides.
surprised you didn't
I
have
gotta go with
Fury up there.
Maverick.
Maverick,
I
Gotta
was
go
going to
Maverick.
say Maverick too.
Maverick.
That's probably the most re-rideable
Yeah.
coaster I could think of right now.
Because there's just like besides like going into the station, there's no stopping ever,
yes,
and it's butter smooth.
yeah. This thing, you need something that's comfortable, that's smooth, all those things.
I'm sure my answer would be Velocicoaster though once I ride it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Velocicoaster's amazing. Pantheon's great too, but Velocicoaster's better. There's no way around it. Let's see now. Next up, I'm just gonna skip some of the stuff that we've answered already. Maybe Great Adventure is starting demolition on the arena, and that's why they closed Mine Train, Medusa, and Ka early. That's true.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
You don't want those pesky enthusiasts taking pictures now.
That's a nice
Oh,
one.
no.
That's a nice
Just like
one.
when everyone walked up that one
worth
night over to Jersey Devil and they wouldn't let anyone take
Oh,
pictures
yeah.
or anything.
That definitely placates my car frustration. If that's the case, that's forgiving for that situation. Absolutely, for the future, I can understand that.
Next up, Great Adventure did Ka 05, Toro 06. What are the odds of beating up Giga 24 and Wing 25? No,
Wow.
they're not going to do that.
No,
I
I'll
would
give
love
it a
it.
generous 2.
it's not impossible, but that's unlikely.
Yeah.
Wow, it'd be
Alright,
It would
sweet.
be sick though.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I
I
said
see
it would be
some-
sick though.
Yeah.
That would be
I'd
great.
see a dive coaster over a wing coaster, though, just with the direction Six Flags has been going.
Yeah, because we already have the 4D free spin at with the Joker. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. And I guess someone said the reason Medusa, Ka, and Mine Train are closed because it's cold.
No.
That couldn't be further from the truth. This
No.
weekend, it was like 80 degrees. It was so
Yeah.
warm out.
I think maybe this is about Holiday in the Park, why they're not open for that. I think
be.
Medusa would be open if it were not on that side of the park. Because
Exactly.
all the other B&Ms run. So I think if everything around it wasn't also closed, that probably would be open too.
I think if another
Yeah.
coaster were to come over there, it would be open.
Yes.
Yeah.
If John Winkler was park president sooner, Rolling Thunder would have been RMC'd. Yes, it would have.
Possibly.
That's what makes it so sad.
Possibly, but unfortunately, you guys all know this, especially you, Tom, because you work there. The structure, the substructure, and all that was pretty much done for. They didn't maintain it well prior to John becoming president, and you can't see a coaster that's pretty much falling apart.
Right. Yeah, I've been missing Rolling Thunder lately. I think because we went on so many rides similar to it this year.
Yeah,
Like, Racer, and you had
Racer 75.
Racer 75. Yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
But so many similar rides to that, and I can't watch Wild Wild West, a classic Will Smith movie, without thinking of Rolling Thunder because they use that for the station music. But yeah, I just wish we had something like that in Great Adventures lineup again. It'd be really nice.
That's true. Yeah, that structures. Would you concur, Colin? That structure was not.
I
good enough.
concur. I would indeed concur.
I heard when they hit it.
I don't believe it's an erroneous statement. I would, in fact, have to concur.
Yeah,
I think this is a good question though, or I'm gonna head out.
Wow.
Catch
All
you
right,
guys in the next
Sammy.
one, obviously, and follow Built to Thrill for more updates on Shadow Stalker and new content. So I'll see you guys later.
Adios,
Have a
Sammy.
good one.
Take care,
Sammy.
Sammy.
Bye.
Have a
I
good one.
should clarify this stream, at least for some of us, will go on probably a little longer than some, simply because I have off from school, so might as well take the
Some
opportunity.
of us have work tomorrow on Breaking Bad to watch.
Excuse me.
Might just be Ace and Colin going on for the rest of the night.
I know, until like 12 a.m. I hope that doesn't happen.
Now, I don't know about that. I'm exhausted from the trip to New England. It was a 5-hour
can
trip.
tell.
That
You look
5-hour
dead.
trip. Yeah, I'm close to bed. I'm on my recliner right now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. Next, from Jingles. I thought it was Jangles before. I don't know.
I think there was a Jingles and a Jangles.
I saw it too. I guess maybe they're
Thanks, Cop, and there was like bottom front, I think.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jingles here. Do you think we will ever see a Raptor track on RMC conversion? No.
No.
Raptor tracks, they need to figure out how to make them smooth before they go any further.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the shelf life of those is either.
No, I have
I
a
mean-
bad feeling about them.
Yeah, they're $5 million to $10 million coasters. I mean, it was a little too good to be true.
Next up, hello Park Pros. I don't know if you're still here, but welcome to the stream. What about that super boomerang possibly showing up at a boardwalk park? Maury's basically has an empty pier to use. What do you guys
That'd
think?
be cool.
Yes,
that makes
yes.
sense.
It'd be
Yeah.
nice.
Go
I
for
think it'd
it.
be cool. I mean, that looks like a great model.
Yeah.
Nice.
The layout looks so good for that.
Yeah, that is nice for that pier.
I got a feeling Maury will do something within the next like 3 or 4 years with a fairly decent investment. I mean, what was their last like big new? I mean, I know they did they invested so much in Great Nor'easter, and it makes sense because they're they don't have much space. But when was the last time they really got something big?
Maury's? I'm not sure. I don't really
They
keep
got
up on.
Runaway Tram in 2019.
That's
Oh
true,
yeah, that's
but-
true.
They got Wild Wizard in 2018. That's not really much of an investment. They get something every year. Just never
That
anything.
part's
too
awesome.
huge. Let's see. Next up, Phil. We can see that would be great for Luna Park. I think some park is going to get the Super Boomerang in 1 to 2 years for sure. Though I want to see it at Luna Park. That'd be great there.
Maybe.
I don't know where they're going to put it, but it'd be great. Next up, do you think the Six Flags Diamond Pass will go on sale for Black Friday? Well, they keep like showing a discounted price, and then when the discount ends, it just reverts to the same price. So I don't really know if they're going to do any kinds of actual sales. I
Six
don't
Flags
know.
done that for years. They always say you're getting the 70% off, and it's just like,
You know
okay, when's
those.
the real price going to show up then?
You know those
Yeah.
memes where something is always like $19.99, and then on Black Friday it says like was like $29.99. Maybe we'll get something like that.
Yeah. Next up, Six Flags Great Adventure won't get a B&M Giga. Instead, they will go with an RMC version of Rolling Thunder, not at the same spot. Well, I think if they were to make an RMC reincarnation of Rolling Thunder, they would put it in the same spot. That's like a fever dream of mine. I've always wanted that to happen. I just don't think it will, unfortunately.
Yeah, that would be too perfect.
So let me ask you, you're alluding to something like the wooden structure being ground up, similar to how Zadra, not as tall as Zadra, but like how Zadra was built up, and then in the metal for it to be a hybrid, a dual track. That's what you mean, Colin?
Yeah, probably. Wouldn't that be cool with two truss lift hills side by side and then dropping at the same angle?
That'd be
Maybe go for
awesome.
120,
That would be
130,
awesome.
That's why I
Yeah.
say it's too perfect, and I doubt it would ever happen. And who knows what they would need to do to like the little part of Rolling Thunder that's under El Toro. I mean, if they're even going to use that specific part, I don't know. There's a lot of questions about it.
Yeah. This is a good one from Park Bros. You guys saying we're on the brink of a coaster war, while also saying the last coaster wars ended because of the recession, when our economy is currently in the midst of a recession. That is a good point.
That is a very good point. I don't know. Hopefully we're toward the back end of it. You never know.
I
But,
think
yeah.
it's maybe more of like I think the new coaster will be more of a quality of the roller coaster, not like the stats of a roller coaster like the last one was.
Yeah, we should be on the back end of that because the earnings and everything is looking a little up. So let's hope.
I think
And
now's
then-
the perfect time for like
Yeah.
parks to start making those investments to pull the attendance back from COVID and all the other, and like people are trying to find ways to like find entertainment again. I think whereas like the last one was kind of like ended by a recession, this one could be started by like, trying to get out of one. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like we're pretty much back from COVID. Would you concur, Colin?
Yeah, I think we're starting to bounce. I mean, well,
That-
it's a complicated and touchy subject. Let's put it that way. It's all over the place, the economy. Next up, it looks like we are getting our way towards the bottom of the chat. That's nice, I guess. This is back to the question about how far you go for a single day trip. I do single day flights to Tampa, Orlando, and Atlanta a lot, doing a same day trip from Buffalo to Tampa in a few weeks for more Gwazi rides.
Oh, that's cool.
I gotta do one of those. I just gotta get down there for Gwazi and then Velocicoaster.
Both are amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there's some cheap flights.
They're both top three. Excuse me. They're both top two, top three coasters. You definitely would. It's definitely worth doing it. Doing the right thing, Tom.
Absolutely.
Two of my favorite coasters of all time. That's re-rideable. Like, I concur with Colin with that. Velocicoaster. If I could do it 20, 30 times, I would do it too. Love Velocicoaster. The best theming ever, but outside of Harry Potter. But let me save that for another day.
I am going to say right now, real quick, as we get closer to the bottom of the chat, I think if there are no questions left at the bottom, we're probably just going to end it off. So as Droopily Sloth in there is saying, guys, ask more questions if you want the stream to keep going. If you don't want the stream to keep going, then don't ask more questions. Let's see. What's your guys' favorite coaster?
Right now, my number one, I think, is what is my number one right now? I tried doing I don't know.
I know what your number one is better than you know what your number one is.
I mean, it's Steel Vengeance. Yeah, right. Been a long day.
Yeah, mine's obviously is Iron Gwazi.
Steel Vengeance. I haven't done Gwazi though, so.
I don't want to reveal my number one quite yet because when I eventually do a top 25 or whatever I wind up doing, I don't want to break the suspense. So I'll just give you like a collection of my favorites. El Toro, Iron Gwazi, Velocicoaster, Steel Vengeance, I-305, Fury 325. There's a lot of just incredible coasters out there. I mean, ranking them is always hard. Who else thinks Zamperla is reimagining Top Wheel Dragster? I don't really strongly think they are or strongly don't think they are. I just hope they don't.
I think it's like 50-50 at this point, but who knows?
Yeah. I still think it'll be Intamin.
I hope it is as well.
Intamin, 100%. That's my take on it.
All right, next up from Intense Thrills, I think I would marathon Toro as my one coaster, given that I've ridden it 64 times in one day. But I think I'll take Pantheon over Velocicoaster. It's close. I don't think I could marathon a coaster that is not like perfectly smooth because eventually it gets to you. Like, and Ace, you're gonna like yell at me for this. I could not marathon a single B&M, especially not Fury. The rattle gets Fury. I do not think Fury is as smooth as some people say. It's got to.
You got a point because I'm just keeping it real. 100. There's days like when your dad, Chris, and Roderick got on it. The perfect day to get on Fury on that Friday. It was perfect. Then we got on Saturday. I noticed it was more intense. Fury has its good and bad days. It's one of my favorite coasters, so I know exactly what you're saying. You know, and Pantheon or Velocicoaster. Pantheon is not. Yeah, Velocicoaster's glass smooth compared to Pantheon. Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. Next up, RMC was evaluated and the coaster was not structurally able to handle an RMC conversion. That's probably in regards to Rolling Thunder. Yeah, that is it.
It's true.
Let's see.
What a shame.
Let's looking for questions. Don't forget, Colin Toro could use a new neighbor. They
That's
sure
right.
could. What's everyone's favorite first drop?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
Jersey Devils up there.
I remember Goliaths being pretty good too at Over Georgia.
Really?
Was it?
I feel like Goliaths is like the weakest part of the ride. Goliaths shines in that finale. It just throws.
Yeah, that's true. The Helix is where it's at on that ride. So I don't know. Maybe
I got a couple of great ones, and unfortunately Darius is not here to hear this one. Number one, obviously, Iron Gwazi. What a drop. Number two, off the Quarry Wall at Fiesta, Texas, the Iron Rattler drop. 80, I believe 80 degrees. It's a great freaking drop.
See, for me, Iron Rattler is very high up there. The twisting, the steepness of the drop, the height, it is seriously one of the greatest drops out there. A lot of the small coasters with tight drops, like Maverick, for example, those are really good too. Toro, of course, it's a legendary first drop. Same with Sky Rush. Jersey Devil, despite a lot of the hate it gets from some people, the drop is definitely its strong suit. You get really good airtime on that. Most of the RMC drops are great too. There's just a lot of really good first drops out there. Time Traveler has a great drop too. It's trimmed, which is unfortunate, but the spinning backwards 90-degree, it's wild.
Oh my God. I will be remiss to say this, not to cut you off, Colin. I just had a revelation. X2. Oh my God. I can't wait till you do it. Oh man, that drop is sick. You see it for yourself, right? Would you agree by looking at it?
It looks great.
It's a great 200-foot drop. Would you concur, Tom? Well, from the POV that you've seen of X2?
Yeah, I'm really that's a bucket list coaster for me.
Oh my God. That drop is, woo. Wow. Drop is great. It's a great drop.
All right. Next up, after what happened in Kennywood, what do you think they're going to do with security there? I think they're just going to try to get more bodies in terms of security.
I was just there, so if you want me to,
did you notice the increased security presence, Lucan?
Yeah, there was. A lot of parks have been doing this. They really clamped on the bag policy. They had this thing that if it's smaller than this, you can't bring a bag in. There was a lot of security guards. I think they even have their own police force or something, and they got the Allegheny County Police in there, and then it was fine. I mean, it was just a little more than usual, and everything seemed fine. I didn't have any problems.
Yeah, I'm looking at a total revamp from what you just alluded to, Lucan, because that was just atrocious. I'm not going to go into details about the incident; it's too graphic. But for that to happen, that's a lapse of security. Would you concur, Colin?
Yeah, I'd say so.
That was reprehensible. How could you do it? How could you let something like that happen? I've heard some bad reviews about. I'm not going to say it online. I'm going to be positive. I've heard some bad reviews about Kennywood. We've alluded to it, Colin and your dad. And I'm just going to leave it at that. But wow, that's not good.
Yeah, the way it happened, it was a little weird. I mean, it wasn't necessarily through the front gate. I think they have that little wall that apparently they might have thrown a firearm or something over the wall. But I think the other thing they're gonna probably look into is building up higher and maybe putting unfortunately they might have to put some wires or something on there so people can't get stuff in over there. But I think they're gonna be better for it, and it seems like the park's gonna be safer. I know they've had some issues in the past, but hopefully it'll be safer.
Well, it's especially with the because we're still on theme park grounds, especially when it comes to climate about what's been going on. You know exactly what I'm alluding to, guys, with the Halloween stuff and things getting out of hand. We know what? This is a blessing in disguise, because if this didn't happen, we wouldn't have had tighter security. Would you concur, Colin?
Yeah,
I thank God for that, because we do need that with these events. I'm just gonna say it as events. These events with all these situations at the parks for being shut down, it's just exactly what I'm saying. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, there are a couple new policies as well, but it seems like they're heading in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next up, how safe do you think trapdoor water slides are? I don't think it's a matter of safety. I think it's a matter of comfort, and personally, I don't like them.
Yeah, I'm always worried I'm gonna either scrape my back or fall in some awkward way. I've never experienced one. I don't think I'd plan to. I don't know. I'll stick to the traditional slide.
I've done a few, and I think the one I did at the Aquatica in SeaWorld's water park, I swear the way it was angled, I just didn't. Slides are pretty tight, and I felt like I was gonna smack my foot out, and I was going pretty fast, and I felt like I might break my foot out. I don't know. I don't know. Water slides can be I wouldn't call them sketchy or anything, but they're just like you just gotta make sure you're riding in the proper position and stuff. You can't mess around with those.
Yeah, being it is that I'm not a huge fan of water parks, as I can tell. I don't have no time with all these coasters and theme parks that the last 5 years I've been doing strictly. I've never been a fan of that. That what do you call that? The trapdoor water slide. Very uncomfortable, and I like to be basic. If I go to a water park, I'd rather go to the kids area and get hit with the bucket, just get wet, and then go to the lazy river. I don't want to do all the
Lazy
stuff,
river.
waiting lines and all this stuff, because that's going to be a long line just to get up to that trapdoor water slide. Yeah, I'm not doing all that. Not a fan of that.
Fair enough.
You a fan of it, Calvin? Okay.
What was that? No, I said I'm not really a big fan of trapdoor slides.
Oh, okay.
We have another. Is this the other? No, this is Jangle's front bottom. Okay, Ace. I've got an artisan well on my property. Artesian well on my property, and the water pressure is lousy. Any suggestions?
Well, the only thing I can imagine is if you have a plumber, ask your plumber to help you out, because that's really technical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess maybe they thought you knew. I don't know.
No, I don't know.
They might have thought you were
maybe
like
your dad knows that, or a plumber. I know your dad knows that, but a plumber, a licensed plumber, would definitely know that.
Question.
Yeah, he would know that. Sophie and Jay would know that.
Yeah. Question from Coaster Brothers: how do you get into a park's media day event for a new roller coaster? He's also wondering what the whole process is to get permission to film on ride at Great Adventure.
Ooh.
All right, that's a big question. So, with regards to media days, I mean, just keep in mind, I've only been to like 2, and both were at Great Adventure, just because I happen to know a lot of people that work at Great Adventure. You really have to like make it shown that by them inviting you, you'll be able to provide content that'll benefit the park on like YouTube, Instagram, etc. And on Instagram, I happen to have a pretty large following. I have upwards of 100,000 followers. So that's kind of why I've been able to get the opportunities I've gotten. Obviously, YouTube isn't there yet, but it's getting there. And with regards to filming at Great Adventure, I can count on one hand how many people, 2 hands, how many people they've let come and film POVs. They are very strict about it at Great Adventure, and I really don't know what the situation would be now. I don't even know who you'd really contact, to be honest, because some people have left the park to move on to other things. But Great Adventure is probably not the park to look to get. Tom, you all right?
Yeah, I'm just Phil had some advice for Jangles on his artesian well.
Okay. But with regards to Great Adventure, that's probably not a park I would expect to get POVs at. It's very difficult.
Try another park first.
Yeah, try a different park. Dorney Park is probably
maybe start with SeaWorld or something.
Any SeaWorld park. I'm planning on making a video about this at some point, because I know recently a lot more people have gotten cameras like GoPros and Insta360s. It's important to know where you can and cannot film, because obviously on this channel, I only film POVs when we're given permission. I don't like to go, and do non-legal stuff. That's where I just kind of get into iffy territory. Always, follow the park's rules. That's most important. But definitely check out SeaWorld parks, because every single one of them lets you film on rides with GoPros
with the proper equipment.
Yeah, of course, with hand mounts or chest mounts.
Yeah, just whatever you do, don't bring your phone on the ride.
No, never with the phone. What is everyone's favorite opening day visit? I think 2022 Great Adventure was pretty entertaining. I mean, I've been going to Great Adventure's opening days for probably 8 years straight, maybe more. I've been going so many times now. It's just like kind of a blur. 2020s was interesting because we got to meet a news anchor from ABC, Tony Yates. She was very nice. We didn't get on TV or anything, but it was cool to meet her. 2021 was great from what I remember, because that whole weekend was totally dead. Toro wasn't open yet. I remember that, but everything else was open. It was great. Of course, no Devil at that point yet. And 2022's was very crowded, but there's a lot of hype around El Toro's reopening. I'm sure you've all seen the vlog from opening day where everyone's cheering, going crazy on the first train of Toro. So if in recent memory, that was probably the most entertaining one. There's a lot to see, lots of new stuff, and of course Toro was back.
Yeah,
Ace, I'm sure you have an interesting answer.
Listen, that was actually the beginning of my road trip of first road trip of 2022, and it's just to top it off with El Toro. Like us, the running of the bulls. It's just so funny how we ran over there to El Toro to be the first ones to ride it. And we had a miniature rollback. What an interesting day. I hated that I had to leave early, but I had a road trip. My Southeast Classic yearly annual road trip. So great adventure always. And I'm looking forward to 23 with El Toro reopening and getting on car, all the coasters just to have our park back. So obviously great adventures, nothing like it.
This was There's a pretty funny aside to opening day 2017. I was actually working that year. I was working the big wheel, and we were getting ready to open the park. And as the gates were open, the Fright Fest music was playing. I don't know if any of you guys, Colin, because I'm pretty sure you guys probably would have been there that day anyway.
Oh, we were there. We ran right to El Toro.
Do you remember this?
And then I don't remember Fright Fest. I just remember getting screwed over at Toro and Ka in the morning.
Well, yeah, the Fright Fest music played. It was definitely some sort of like weird mistake, but it was just really funny. All of us were super confused.
2017. Trying to think 2017.
Well, unless anyone else has anything to say, we're going to move on to the next question. What's your guys' favorite airtime moments?
Pretty much most of Goliath at Over Georgia.
Goliath's final run of airtime was unbelievable. Iron Rattler's 2 big drops, Toro's Camelbacks, and the Rolling Thunder Hill. There's lots of really good airtime moments out there.
You can't forget. I just did it today 11 times.
Lightning Rod's quad down.
Yeah, Lightning Rod is one of the great ones. Superman at New England is great airtime. I'm just gonna put it like this. It's just too much to try to say 500, like about 100 coasters, because I got so many under my belt. I'm gonna say Iron Gwazi, the B&M Hypers. Whether you're talking about, the Kings Island Hyper, Diamondback. So the B&M Hypers, the B&M Gigas, a lot of the RMC drops. There's some on the Intamins. Wow, there's just so many. Oh, El Toro. Wow, so many fun airtime moments on those. Yeah, those take the cake. Yeah, those are the best. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of those moments. I haven't experienced all of those, but I'm gonna head out here. I just want to address the next question and then share my favorite airtime moments to end on a positive. But the reason I think what Sloth is referring to here is like how the schedule is kind of been a little more iffy. This year they kind of ran it more like a COVID year, sort of like they were a little conservative in operating hours, given how the crowds are really light and stuff, and the whole changes in the pricing and stuff. But next year, from what I've heard, they're going to be back closer to normal pre-COVID hours. I know the general manager of our parks a little more conservative in terms of like operating stuff. And we're always understaffed, so that's understandable. But we're gonna be closer to a normal year. I think we're gonna get our light show back, which has been like the signature thing for Darien Lake. So I'm happy about that. And I'm sure if you guys come out, you'll be excited about that. But favorite airtime moments, I got to go with the Steel Vengeance. It's second. It's the Outer Bank Hill. But other than that, guys, I'll see you later.
Yeah. So that's
hopping in, Lucan.
Good to see you, Lucan.
Guys.
So that's why Darien Lake was when I was trying to get my coaster credits last year actually. They were half the park was closed. You never go there during the week. They were under COVID hours last year, especially. So now that answered my question.
Right. All right. Moving on to the next question. What's your favorite coaster to get a Zen ride on, and why? Not Jersey Devil, because when you get a Zen ride on Jersey Devil is not very good because it runs way too slow.
I've gotten
Zen rides are always cool.
I've gotten Skull Mountain Zen rides. Those are kind of fun. I think just like the personal connection of having worked the ride is also pretty cool. Also, I got Zen rides working it because they sent an employee to test, and I've gotten to ride it with the lights on, which is pretty unique. So for that reason, I'll probably go with Skull.
What do they mean by a Zen ride?
Zen ride is when you're the only one on it.
Oh, that's easy. Great Adventure's been so empty. I got Nitro. I got on Nitro by myself a couple weeks ago, back in October. So it would have to be Nitro. That's the only way I get anything at Great Adventure. So Nitro, yeah, got on by myself.
I've had Zen rides on so many different coasters. I mean,
wow.
Just ones that immediately come to mind. It's Toro, Nitro, and Devil. I've definitely had multiple. I know Toro, I had a ton this year. The thing with Zen rides, though, like, yes, it's very hang on. It's very cool to be the only one on the ride, but with nobody else on it, it makes the ride run like crap. It runs very, very slow without anyone else on it, especially with Devil. Like I said, Devil just crawls. And Toro, too, it runs a little sluggish when you're the only one on it. So I prefer a nice full train than anything else.
Yeah.
Moving on. Great Adventure opening day this year was the best and be hard to beat. Yeah, there's just such a great energy there. So many people. It was awesome. What's everyone's most ridden coaster to date? Probably El Toro for me.
Same here.
But in terms of like speed, how quickly I've gotten the most rides on stuff, it'd have to be Jersey Devil. I got 299 rides on Jersey Devil last year, and I'm somewhere, I think I'm in the 80s this year. Let me double check.
It's definitely not as much for all of us this year.
No,
like on Jersey Devil comparatively.
Yeah.
I don't even think
Jersey Devil this year I've ridden it 83 times. So I've ridden Jersey Devil 382 times lifetime.
Damn, I rode it like 38 times this year.
Damn, that's a lot.
We've gone to Great Adventure for the most part. Like, I think there might have been like 4 or 5 visits that I didn't go with you, Colin. Maybe that's where you got them. Did you guys do like a power hours or something early on, or I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I got 175 rides on Toro this year, so
yeah,
I did 91.
Yeah, I would have to say Nitro would have to be, because it's been out since 2001. It's 21 years, even though we just started being able to get on these coasters like crazy the last 5 years, like Ka and Toro, with these bonus days and people not coming to Fight Fest much on Fridays, the power hours. So Nitro would have to be, because Nitro has been there pretty much one of the longest out of all those new coasters. Yeah, pretty interested. And by the way, I'm sorry to I would be remiss if I didn't say this. El Toro was great by myself. It did crawl. That's the only thing, it goes slower. Yeah, it did crawl. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, pretty good rides on Nitro. Zen rides on Nitro and Toro.
All right, I'm going to have the questions end. So I'm putting a line in the chat in 1 minute. Send your final questions, and then that will be it for the night. So we're going to just keep rolling down the chat, and whenever we get there, that will be it. So how come at Hurricane Harbor I feel like the lines are longer than the theme park? It's because Hurricane Harbor is smaller, much smaller. Not enough room for the crowd to spread out as opposed to Great Adventure. Let's see. I guess this is response to Jangles. Jangles, in case you didn't see it in the chat, you may have sand clogging your inlet, so you might want to just check. I think they have sand remover at Walmart you can probably purchase.
Yeah.
I know a few. We've had it a few times on our trips when like stuff gets clogged up. People get sandy, so sometimes you just need a little sand remover.
Right. Yeah. Actually,
when do you think El Toro will reopen, if it does? I'm going to say opening day. I don't know about opening day. I'd say a little after. I don't know. It'll reopen in 2023. Let's put it that way.
Well, optimistically speaking, if that's the case, probably between opening day and Jersey Devil in June. So probably like May something. Let's hope by Memorial Day.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
All right. Next up from Brian Gray. I'm interested to see what Holiday in the Park has in store. As am I. I hope it's good this year.
It's always my favorite time to go to the park. Like, I'm so hyped up for that. It's going to be fun.
What's the most amount of times you've been able to lap a coaster without getting off? For me, it's Nitro during last year's Holiday in the Park, which I got to stay on 61 times. Now, I don't have that many. In terms of like full on just sitting, I can't even think, because I count it based off how many rides I have per day as opposed to like in a row. I don't really keep track of that. It's definitely at least 20 in a row, probably on Toro. And I've definitely had some high numbers on Jersey Devil and Hydrus at Casino Pier as well. Those are like my marathon rides, more or less. Nitro too sometimes. I think I did Nitro like 17 times in a row once or something.
Yeah, I've done Nitro like probably 15 straight times. I know I could do Fury. Car.
I think somewhere around 20 times in a row I might have done it.
Yeah. I've done car like about 15 or 6, probably like 18 times in a row without having to get up.
Okay. No, I just seat hop on car, finding the single seats.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Jangles has a lot of interesting questions tonight.
Hmm.
Ace, I have this itch on the back of my leg, and I don't know if it's a bug bite or dry skin. Thoughts?
Jangles, are you taking hot showers? That might be. If you're taking hot showers, it's dry skin.
Yeah, it could.
He did ask you, Ace.
You know what I would recommend for that is to have some anti-itch lotion. You know that would help.
What kind of lotion?
Anti-itch or Gold Bond. That would help.
Yeah.
Gold Bond would help.
Colin, Ace, Tom, what do you think of Gabriel working at Sesame Place? I think it's great.
Yeah.
Obviously, SeaWorld is a great company, and I'm glad to see that Gabriel's continuing in the theme park industry. He did incredible stuff at Great Adventure. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff I never would have been able to do without Gabriel. So Gabriel's a great guy, and I hope he has fun working at Sesame Place.
Yeah, we'll miss him a lot at Great Adventure, but like I can't wait to see what he does for Sesame Place. Like he worked wonders and like completely took Great Adventure into this whole new direction, and I hope his work continues to last there. Like, and it's going to be great to see how that works out at Sesame Place too.
Yeah.
I wish he never left. You know, he did such a great thing at for the Thrillathon and all that. Very professional. However, very, very happy. Go where your heart's at. You know, to further his career. So he's going to do great things for Sesame Place because he's just so talented. He has great potential. So who knows, be a president of a park or even, you know, I could see him doing well in the future.
Absolutely. Okay. What's your favorite sewage diver mission? Ace, do you know what that is?
No.
Is this like a Skylanders thing?
I have no clue.
I have no clue.
My favorite Zen ride has to be either Toro or Pantheon, last ride of the night. For the trolls, I would say Green Lantern because most people hate it. I like Green Lantern, so you're not the only one. Do you think there will ever be a custom SNS free spin layout? Well, there have been variations. There's the main one and then the smaller one, so it's definitely different. I think the free spin model has so much potential in terms of custom layouts. Like, I wish they all weren't the same. I wish there was some variation to them because they could be really, really great rides. They're already fun. They could be excellent rides if they had some variation, you know, and maybe flipped a little more. Some of them kind of skipped out on the fins and everything, you know. Anything else from you guys?
No, I don't know. I think we're definitely out of the age of those like free spin like 40 Joker clones. Like that's definitely over. I don't know. We'll see what's next.
Yeah. Next up, I think I have over 200, 300 rides on Toro this season. I wanted more, but sadly I couldn't. Same with me. I was really hoping to crack 200-300 maybe, but oh well.
I don't think any of us could have beaten Mr. Toro though.
No.
How many Mr. Toro has?
I'm not sure.
Not enough.
Ace, there seems another odd question from Jangles. Ace, there seems to be a ton of buildup accruing on my kitchen sponges. How do I prevent this?
Very simple. What you have to do is every time you use your sponge, you have to have some kind of. You could either have some bleach, or you could just go organic and use vinegar to soak it and dry it. Make sure they dry.
I hear that if you microwave your sponges, though, that could help. I don't know.
You could do that too. Yeah. So,
Dr. Ace, ladies and
gentlemen. There's many ways that you can sanitize your sponges and keep them from getting the buildup. Yeah. I personally don't like sponges. I like rags. Sponges. Yep.
Final question. Unfortunately, guys, if it's below the line, I'm not answering it. It's getting a little late for us. Do you know if you can fly a drone over Great Adventure in the off season? As far as I know, no.
No.
As depending on the size of your drone too, obviously it has to be registered. what's the department called? I can never remember. I know there
I don't
is a
even know.
division.
I
What
don't
was
even
that?
know what department would handle that.
I know that it's something with flight. East Coasters would be the
The
one to talk to
aviation
about
something.
drones. The aviation, it's something along the lines. But you have to you can't fly your drones in certain spots if it's
The
too close.
FAA.
FAA, that's it. It's the FAA. But no, flying drones over any private property is a big no-no. Great Adventure is private property, so I mean, I guess you can fly it on public property, like on the road, but even that's risky. And again,
Some
depending on
people
the size
fly
of your
on.
drone.
Some
lake.
people fly over the Prospertown Lake, but like,
The lake,
yeah,
yes.
and even
Yep.
even that is dodgy.
And I
Yeah.
don't know how close you can actually legally get to the structures of Great Adventure, like Nitro and the coasters. So I don't know.
Remember when they would, whoever did that was flying their drone over the lake, and they took some spectacular pictures of the Jersey Devil coaster. Remember that?
Yeah.
So you can legally fly over the lake.
Now, that's the end of the questions we're going to be looking at. Unfortunately, guys, I'm sorry. We're not going to be able to look at the questions post that. But, Brian, I hope you have a great night. I do want to end the stream out, though, first by taking a look at the result of the poll that I had running throughout the entire chat. It was asking, how excited are you for Wildcat's Revenge? 75% said it looks incredible, can't wait. 20% says it looks all right, but I'm still excited. And only 4% says I'm disappointed. 72 votes, so thank you to all 72 of you who voted. Ace, I do want to ask a question of you because I know the chat, they're probably coaster enthusiasts. Maybe they don't always go on as many trips as maybe you do. So do you have any tips you'd be willing to share with other coaster enthusiasts in the chat as to how to go about trips, how to keep them affordable, how to do so many, stuff like that?
Well, the number one thing is you definitely want to plan at least 6 to 1 year. If you're gonna, it depends on if you're flying or driving. Try to plan like about 6 months to a year in advance. That helps with the course. Number two, you want to definitely take advantage of your flyer miles and points, and of course your points from any various rental companies. That helps too. And take advantage of the dining passes. You know, if you have a Six Flags, get that. Especially if you know you're going to a lot of Six Flags parks on the trips, and the same thing for Cedar Fair parks too. So, and of course, and then also when it comes to food, the most practical thing to do is go to Walmart, because there's Walmarts practically littered around the whole country, especially around all the various theme parks we've been to. That definitely helps. And of course, the same thing for hotels. You want to definitely go to Expedia or anything online. There's so many various sites that you can find the cheaper prices for hotels. So that's basically all of the advice I can give that comes to mind. Course.
And that is all the advice Ace can give on here. There's other stuff. But,
yeah, that's
the
practical things. Yeah, you don't want to give my secrets, but those are the best things. You want to do when it goes to conventional road trips, basically.
I do want to say, don't be refrained from going on a trip if it happens to be last minute or comes up quick. If you can find hotels, you can figure out how to get to a park. Go. You might as well. But that's gonna about do it for tonight's stream.
Quick question.
Excuse
me. Quick question. You owe me this one. I know you had to go from question to question, and this I'll be remiss if I don't bring this up. You had gotten cut off because of a situation which was terrible. It was you was alluding to that your crazy trips and being inspired by me. You didn't get to finish that off. Based on when you started taking the trips that you take now.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Well, I don't think we ever would have gone on trips to the scale that we have done if it wasn't for hearing about how you've done them successfully. I mean, when I think back, we met you in 2016. I hadn't gone on a major roller coaster road trip at all. I mean, we kind of started doing it in 2017. We didn't do like a long trip per se. I think the longest thing we did was hitting New England and Lake Compounce in the same trip, so to speak.
Right.
Hershey for a few days. We did a day trip to Dorney, day trip to a couple smaller parks down South Jersey. But 2018 was where we started really doing these road trips. Of course, we had the Ohio trip where we got to go to Knoebels, Cedar Point, Kings Island, and Kennywood for the first time. That was back in 2018, so it's been a little while. And we also that year went to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg for my second time that was, and my first trip to King's Dominion in the same trip. And we stopped at Six Flags America on the way back. So another little trip there. 2019 was a big trip. We started off with a massive drive down to Carowinds, border of North and South Carolina. Drove straight through the night. I believe we left our house at 9:30 p.m. the night before, and we were in the front row of Copperhead Strike for the first ride of the day at 9:30 a.m. the next day.
Jeez.
Wow.
From there, we drove to Dollywood, did 2 days at Dollywood. Dollywood's an incredible park. I can't wait to go back one day. From there, we went up to Kentucky Kingdom, hit that for the day. Then we went out to Holiday World, visited Holiday World. Then we revisited Kings Island, Cedar Point, drove home. That was a very long trip. It was at least a week from what I remember. Lots of really fun stuff there. Then 2020, we did an absolutely bonkers trip for many reasons. For one, it was during the pandemic. We had already booked it and just said, screw it, let's do it. We flew into St. Louis, rented a one-way rental car from St. Louis to San Antonio. First, we did Six Flags St. Louis the first day. Then we did Silver Dollar City for 2 days. Then we did Frontier City for a day. Stopped at Buc-ee's on the way, or somewhere along the line. We went to Buc-ee's twice. Did Six Flags Over Texas. We did Fiesta, Texas. We did SeaWorld, San Antonio, and then flew home. That was a great trip. 2021, Bob came out to New Jersey around the end of June, right after school got out. So we hit like every little park in the area. We did Coney Island. We did Sesame Place. We did Dutch Wonderland, Maury's Piers, Playlands Castaway, Casino Pier. We did Jenkinson's. We did every little park around here. Dorney we stopped to, but Dorney's one of our home parks. Then after that, we did our Florida trip. We went and flew to Orlando. I believe first we did both Fun Spot parks in one night. Then we had 2 days at Universal straight in a row. Then we did Volcano Bay and Universal again. Then we did, I forget the order. It was either SeaWorld first or Busch Gardens Tampa first. Did those two, went back to Universal for one more day, flew home. And then this year, of course, we had the coaster. And I forgot to mention, too, in 2021, we went back to Cedar Point, Kings Island, and we got to visit Lakemont Park for the first time during the Coaster Mania trip. Then this year,
we did New England that year, too.
Yes, we did New England that year, too. A lot of stuff happened. And this year, we started it off by flying back to Florida. We did the Spring Conference Ace event at Busch Gardens Tampa for Gwazi and SeaWorld Orlando for Icebreaker. That was fun. We did the Coaster Mania trip again, brought a few extra guests along the way, met a lot of people there too. We did Cedar Point again, Kings Island again, and then we switched it up and went to Knoebels on the way home. Then after that, we did our trip down south. So first we did King's Dominion, then Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, then Carowinds, then Six Flags Over Georgia, and shot our way back up.
We also started that at Rye Playland, which was kind of crazy.
We did start
The Southeast trip started in New York.
Yes.
Wow.
And I think that's every major trip we've done I touched on.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, obviously, there were day trips to other parks around the area. I can't talk about everything. We've been to Hershey a bunch of times. Dorney, of course, second home park. Great Adventure, God knows how many times. But trips, that's the only way to get to these parks. And, you got to drive, got to fly. There's no direct routes most of the time, but
because, of course,
wow. Yeah, it's just amazing. It definitely reminds me of let's just say I never thought I'd be caught dead in the South. And I said, you know what, screw it. Just same way you did. People tell me, you said you're going to Texas? I said, yes, I'm going to Texas because I want to go to Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, and Six Flags Over Texas. I said, screw it. Same thing with Over Georgia. I said, screw it. You got to go to these parks. You have to. Especially being a true coaster connoisseur. You have to do it. Wow, it's just not that long ago, 2011. I've always dreamt of doing these road trips, and I've definitely followed my dreams of conquest. I have lived up to it and got my goals. Yeah, my wishes came true with all these and more. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's incredible to think about. Like even in the last year and a half,
wow,
where I was struggling to get past 50 different coasters, and that was mostly just Great Adventure and Jenkinson's. And then like now flash forward a year and a half or so, and like Colin, you guys have invited me on so many trips, and I thank you for that. And I'm so excited to see what comes up next. And it's like, wow, I finally made it to Cedar Point and like all this other cool stuff, and I just can't wait to see more.
And nothing pleased me more. And we're gonna put this into the bank. I owe not you, obviously. I've always been I'm good to everybody. Nothing pleased me more, not only for you to get your 104 milli, and with the pass, I'm just gonna say it at that, just to get on Millie and to get you on and Chris, it really put a smile on my face for you and Chris to get all your credits at Cedar Point. Nothing better than that. I know you was just as happy, Colin, and of course your dad too, right, Colin? Incredible. To see these guys get their coat, to see the smile on their face of Still Vengeance and Millie. Incredible. On the first day I got out there, we knocked it off the box. We really knocked it out. It's amazing how we just flipped Cedar Point right on its head, and we did it on the first day. That was great. What a great day at Cedar Point with you guys. Great day. And there's definitely many more days to come. You know, get on as many coasters as possible. You know, the more the merrier. Of course, even if it's one a day, I'm grateful, especially you guys getting on for the first time. You know, it's pretty cool. You know, I'm telling you, nothing better than seeing anything to see smiles on people's faces at the theme parks, especially for friends that we all know each other, of course. So what a great thing. Wow.
Of course, obviously, I've been doing YouTube for a while now. If you guys don't know, I started YouTube way back in 2014. I was very young, and I've been doing it ever since. Everything I just told you about the trips, all of that is on this channel. And, you know, sometimes I take a look back, and it's just mind-blowing what point I've gotten to from where I was, especially as more opportunities begin to arise, you know, more and more. It's just like I truly never expected it to get to this point. So I know I say this, I feel like every stream, but seriously, thank you guys so much for the support. You don't know what it means. It's just mind-blowing where we've gotten to, and it's only going to go up. It's only going to go up. So I think that's probably a good place to end the stream for the night.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very wholesome note to end on there.
Yeah.
This is definitely one of the longer streams we've had in a while. Don't get used to it, though. I don't think I'm doing one this late again because I don't really have school off on Mondays very often. But thank you guys for tuning into the stream. If you've been here for the whole 2 hours and 40 minutes, props to you. Tom, Ace, you guys have any closing remarks?
No, I think I'm just going to go to bed. Maybe I'll get a Breaking Bad episode in or two tomorrow morning.
Yeah, watch some more Breaking Bad.
All I got to say is that I'm going to leave it on this note. Roller coasters are the gateway, not to heaven, the gateway to happiness. And just as we alluded to, I'm sorry?
The ride to happiness.
Absolutely. Roller coasters are the ride to happiness. Absolutely. It's just incredible. Keep on riding coasters, you know, as many times as you can, of course. And keep on doing road trips. Whoever's doing road trips, keep on doing them. And pretty much live life like there's no tomorrow with these roller coasters and these trips. You know, and if you haven't done a road trip, like we alluded to earlier, in closing, please do a road trip. Once you do it, you're going to want to do it more and more and more.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, guys, thank you all so much for joining the stream. Tom, Ace, thanks for sticking around to the very end. And thank you, Luke and Sammy and Darius, for being on the stream for the other part. But that's it tonight. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to like the live stream. Subscribe to Kennywood Studios if you haven't already. Stay tuned for some more awesome content coming soon. See you guys next time. Have a good night.
Take care. Good night, Colin.